you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Terrific day for football here in Tempe, and a look at some scores from earlier today that involved the NFC West. And of course, Seattle, with about 8 minutes to go, leading Baltimore 41-24. Important because then the Rams would need to win to keep pace if Seattle held on there. The Packers already defeating San Francisco. Some other scores: Dallas defeating the Carolina team in the fourth quarter. The Panthers coming in with the best record in the NFC. You see the Eagles up on New Orleans in a shootout there. The finals, the Jets rallied to beat Jacksonville. The Vikings about ready to end their losing streak. And of course, Indianapolis moving back in front of Buffalo. Here, the weather cool and crisp, just under 60 degrees. Mostly sunny in the forecast as the Cardinals have won the toss and will receive Emmitt Smith inactive. He had practiced this week for the first time in 6 or 7 weeks, coming back from that shoulder injury. But the NFL's all-time leading rusher not able to go, as you get a look at Josh Scobie hoping to get the Cardinals going on a kick return.
And Josh took 100 yards the last time these two teams met, so he's familiar with success. We'll see if they can get it done. That's what they need to do early. Establish field position and take advantage of it early in this game.
And we're ready to go. Wilkins kicks it off. It is Scobie out across the 25-26 yard line, where the Cardinals will take over as Jeff Blake is the quarterback. Jamie Duncan on the stop. Jeff Blake, who said, yes, we can beat the Rams, even though they lost to them when they played them earlier this year, protected by a heavy offensive line that averages over 330 pounds. Pete Kendall, the center. A little bit of an injury last week, but hanging in there. Marcel Shipp starts in the backfield, although beat up, with former Ram James Hodgins and Anquan Bolden, the rookie. 60 catches already this year. From the 27, 1st and 10 Cardinals. And the give across the 32-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down for Arizona. Grant Wistrom on the stop. And a look at the Ram defensive line again. Leonard Little and Damian Lewis sitting out again, so they miss some 7 sacks there. At linebacker, Tommy Polley coming off a big game, and Jeremetrius Butler 3 interceptions in his last 2 games. 2nd and 5. Jeff Blake marking out the signals. Second down 5. And the give is to Marcel Shipp, twisting forward. And Kelly, with that big offensive line, the Ram defensive line only averages about 288, 290, so that we might see a lot of this today.
And that is the advantage that the Cardinals have, but they've been behind so early in football games, they haven't been able to stick with that. Marcel can get it done as well, and this offensive line, they need to get in a groove. They need to get in a rhythm early in this game.
Cardinals at a 3 wide receiver set on 1st and 10 from out across the 37-yard line after taking the opening kick and getting a 1st down. It's Shipp again with some room out across the 45. Bryce Fisher on the tackle. It'll be 2nd down, a pickup of about 8. Fisher, a leading tackler on special teams, playing because Damian Lewis and Leonard Little are out on the defensive line, helping to figure the backup defensive end position. On 2nd down, just 2 for the Cards from their own 45. Blake to throw. Ball is taken, intercepted. The Rams have it inside the 40. It's Pisa Tito Isamoa, the rookie, down to about the 22-yard line. And turnovers, which have been such a problem for the Cardinals, is once again a problem here.
And that's exactly what has taken the Cardinals out of the running game early in football games. They come out and they run the ball well 3 times in a row. Shipp already has 18 yards rushing, and then they try to throw on 1st down to mix it up. Sometimes you can outthink yourself in this game of football. Keep it simple. You're running between the tackles. You're getting stuff done. Your offensive line is getting in a rhythm.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 50, St. Louis, 15 yards. It's a 1st down for St. Louis.
Pisa, and he's a piece of work because apparently an unsportsmanlike conduct call. Let's see after the interception, a 29-yard return.
You can see right here, Jimmy Kennedy doesn't get much of a push, but as a good defensive lineman knows, keep eye contact with the quarterback when he releases a football, get your hands up, and he's the one that tipped the ball right there. That's their first-round draft pick that they're trying to get into this football game a little bit. Haven't been exactly happy with his progress, but that's a good sign early in this game for him.
All right, Marshall Faulk in the backfield with Joey Goodspeed, the fullback, as the Rams take over at the 39 of Arizona, and the give is to Faulk, who bounces outside and doesn't get much. In fact, he might lose a little bit. So the Cardinals, who lost an earlier meeting back in September.
We can see here the unsportsmanlike conduct right at the end. I don't think we've seen it yet. I don't know.
Well, the NFL rules, if you gesture a point in the face of the opposition, and I don't know if we had a clear picture of that, but that could have been what the call was about. Second down and 11. Bulger to throw, complete to Isaac Bruce. It's a first down, or close to a first down, right around the 28-yard line. And yes, it'll be a first down for the Rams from the 27.
And you're going to see Isaac Bruce right here, and this is exactly what I don't think the Cardinals can cover. Most basic route in football, a slant route, send an inside receiver out into the flat. Those are the type of things that Bulger needs to do well early. He's been a little erratic in his short passing game. If he's sharp with that, it's easier to then progress to the throws down the field.
Cardinals 24th defending the pass, 11th against the run. It's a first down for the Rams. Bulger flipping to Marshall Faulk. Not a lot of room on the right side. In fact, Dave McGinnis said he was happy with the way that his team has defended the run. Ronald McKinnon helping to make the stop.
We talked to Russell Davis a couple of days ago, and this Ram front has done a very good job, and the linebacking court, defending the run, just like you said, Chris. But then they have to learn to transition to pass defense, and particularly up front, rush the quarterback. That's where they have their problems. On second down, third down, when you know it's going to be a pass, then you have to get your hind ends to the quarterback.
All right, second and 11. So the running game not working early for the Rams, something that Mike March and this team wants to improve on. Marshall Faulk in the backfield. Flags fly as Bulger appears to have a free play and overthrows the intended receiver, Torrey Hope. We'll check out the flag as you see other scores from around the league. We'll keep an eye on that Seattle game. They were winning late in the fourth quarter against Baltimore.
Offside, number 96, defense, 5 yards. Repeat second down.
Dennis Johnson, who's a little banged up this week, called for the offside.
You can see him right here, and this is exactly what we saw last week. They had 3 of these in the first half of football, equal to the 3 on the offensive side of the ball. Those are the type of mistakes that have nothing to do with anything other than focus the football as a defensive lineman. Go on the ball.
And after getting whipped by the Browns last week, the Cardinals felt they had something to prove. 2nd and 6 from the 23 of Arizona. Bulger to throw. Flips it to Marshall Faulk on the right side. It is complete around the 21-yard line. Marshall Faulk, his first 100-yard game rushing last week in more than a year.
And you can see right now, you can see Marshall's just going to come out of the backfield and run a swing route, and Bulger wanted to go to him all the way. And I think that's exactly the way Marc is coaching Bulger right now, is to take the check down routes, your tight end, your running back early in the game and get comfortable, and then you progress from there.
Our audio technician close to that tackle. You could hear it happening. 3rd and 4 from the 21. It's the Rams' first possession after the interception by Tino Isaboa. In motion is Isaac Bruce. Bulger to throw. Wide open at the 15. And Bruce with a first down inside the 12-yard line of Arizona.
And this is the exact down and distance and situation that the Cardinals didn't handle very well. You have tandem receivers off to the left, exactly where Bulger is looking. And you see a little curl route and coming back inside with Bruce as Holt cleared that entire area out. And this is where the Cardinals have problems, is the pass defense, especially inside the red zone.
First down, number 70, John St. Clair reporting as eligible from the tackle position. And Marshall Faulk will get the carry. To the outside, Marshall Faulk, close. and out of bounds down around the 1-yard line. LeVar Fisher helping to make the stop to keep Marshall from getting into the end zone.
This play is actually designed to go inside. You can see the good speed inside, and then Marshall, this is what he's so good at. The point of attack is one place, and he sees something somewhere totally different, and he's outside in a heartbeat.
Rams averaging just 85 yards to rushing a game. They've gone through a lot of injuries this year. Marshall Faulk missing 5 games because of the hand and the knee injury. It was a 10-yard gain for Marshall, so first and goal.
St. Louis.
First and goal from the 1, and the Rams call timeout. That's nothing new. We'll be back in Arizona. Welcome back to Tempe, Arizona, and Sun Devil Stadium, along with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers, the NFL on Fox, after the Cardinals received the opening kickoff and were driving successfully, running the ball. Pisa Tino Isamoa interception has given it to the Rams. They have marched down inside the 1-yard line. 2 tight ends in. And the give is to Marshall Faulk, and he is in for the touchdown. It's a touchdown Rams. So after some runs on a drive where there was negative yardage, Marshall found the end zone.
The start of this game looks a lot like the time in week 4 that these teams met. The Cardinals could not get the Rams off the field. They ran the football effectively. The Rams did. They come back and they convert on 3rd down, and it looks like the same type of thing. The Cardinals have to learn to transition from that run-stop defense to a pass rush and get some kind of pressure on Bulger.
Marshall Faulk now just 1 touchdown away from tying Walter Payton for 6th on the all-time list at 125 career touchdowns. Jeff Wilkins with the extra point. It's up there and out there and through there. And the Rams with a 7-0 first quarter lead. Marshall Faulk 39 yards on 7 plays in the drive that has St. Louis on top in Arizona. Rams with a 7-0 lead after Faulk's touchdown run.
And you can see Cam Cleveland right here from that tight end position going back into a fullback and leading Faulk into the end zone. Just gets enough right there. That is the nature of the way that the Rams like to play. They pull all kinds of people and use all kinds of personnel packages. A great job right there. Jeff
Wilkins kicking off. It's Josh Scobie back from his own 1-yard line. He's got some room out across the 20. Gets out to the left side. 30. Up near the 35 where he's run out of bounds. And the Rams have given up 5 touchdowns on special teams this year. The Cardinals have the ball, trailing 7-0. They have won Super Bowls and MVP awards. Kurt Warner, Emmitt Smith. They aren't playing right now. Emmitt Smith inactive, hoping to play next week, coming off the shoulder injury. The NFL's all-time leading rusher. Kurt Warner backing up Marc Bulger, and a chance in the last 2 games anyway that he was close to playing. Meanwhile, Cardinals trailing 7-0 from their own 34. That's Bolden in motion. The give to Marcel Schipp, who picks up a couple. Now, Jeff Blake said that he challenged the offense this week that, hey, we got to step it up here. We have to make things happen. And we can't just collect a paycheck and play out the string despite a 3-7 record.
Well, those are good words. And then you have to go out on the field and back those statements up. And he needs to win at his position and stop turning the ball over like we've already seen. No matter how the ball is turned over on an interception, it's the quarterback's fault. He has to take care of his position, let those guys up front take care of their jobs as well. 2nd and 8. The only pass Blake has thrown to this game was intercepted, set up the Ram touchdown. And Blake will throw again. Has time on the right side, has Bolden out of bounds at the 40. It'll bring up a 3rd down for the Cardinals, and Bolden in his first game as a rookie had 2 touchdowns, 217 yards. Quite a start. 60 catches, leads the team, and is a guy they want to try to find ways to get the ball in his hands. Yeah, and the key is they're going to move him all around. They're going to isolate him on the weak side, just like they did that time to try to create one-on-one situations. But the Rams don't believe in double teaming people, so Bolden actually has an opportunity to have a big game if Blake can get him the football. 3rd and 4. Schipp the only back in the backfield. Blake in the shotgun. To throw high, and Bolden has it inside the Ram 45 for a Cardinal 1st down. 16-yard pickup and a nice connection from Blake to Bolden. It's just man-to-man defense in the secondary with a free safety in the middle of the field, and it creates a one-on-one opportunity with Bolton. And he's so big and strong, it's hard to keep him on the line of scrimmage, and he's not afraid to go up and get the ball at the end of the play either.
So the Cardinals running out of the 3 wide receiver formation quite a bit in the early going. They'll throw out of it, they'll run out of it. Marcel Shipp in the backfield on a 1st and 10 from just inside the Ram 45-yard line. And the give is to Shipp. Gets a couple of yards.
Marcel Shipp,
and with Robert Thomas on the tackle with about a 43-pound weight advantage when you compare the Cardinal offensive line to the Ram defensive line. If the Cardinals defense can keep them in the game, this is something that the Cardinals can work with and maybe set up some play action for Blake.
Right, and that has been a big if. But it's not just the defense, it's the offense not turning the ball over and putting their defense in bad situations. And we've already seen that happen once already in this early part of the game.
2nd down and 8. Already 26 giveaways for the Cardinals so far this season, including one in the opening quarter that put them in a hole. Shipp alone back in the backfield. Blake to throw, fakes, fires across the middle, has a completion around the 36, 37-yard line of the Rams.
You know, Chris, you talked about the Cardinals giving the ball away. They're the worst in the I think the 30th team in the NFL giving the football away. But the Rams are first at taking the ball from the opposing team, as we can see right there. I mean, they do a tremendous job, but the Rams also will give you an opportunity by giving the ball back.
So it'll bring up 3rd and 2 after the Freddie Jones catch. In motion is Bolden again. Blake fakes. Turns, he's back at his own 49-yard line, throws it out of bounds, and that'll bring up 4th down intended for Marcel Shipp, and the Rams have the pressure on.
And the Cardinals were in a down and distance where they need to just punch someone in the mouth at 3rd down and 2, but instead they bootleg and they put Jeff in a pretty bad situation. The Rams did a good job of containing on the right side, and Jeff at his age, at this point in time of his career, he's not a guy that's going to run away from many people.
Bryce Fisher helping to put the pressure on, and the Cardinals are going to go for it early on 4th and 2. And if they were thinking this, you would wonder why maybe they wouldn't run it on 3rd down. Well, they run it here, and Marcel Shipp
not even going to get close.
Shipp did not come in. They will not get the 1st down, and the Rams will take over.
Very questionable at this stage in the football game when you have to control the tempo of this game. If you're going to go for it on 4th, mash it up in there 2 times.
The Rams defense does its job. They take over, hoping to add to their 7-0 lead. Nice to have you with us. The NFL on Fox with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers, and the Rams' 7-0 lead. Their defense, well, the Cardinals have moved the ball on the Ram defense, but big stops, an interception, and then a 4th down stop gives the ball back to Marc Bulger and the offense. 1st and 10 from just over the 35-yard line. Bulger with a flip to the tight end. Brandon Manu Maliena has another 1st down for the Rams, and Marc Bulger, 13-3 as a starter in the NFL, coming off a couple of tough games. But again, Mike Martz says there's no question he's our quarterback. Orlando Pace, who actually in the offensive line will line up against Calvin Pace on the defensive line. Who will set the pace between those two? And in the backfield, Torrey Holt leads the NFL in catches. They've got all kinds of weapons, and Goodspeed now settling in at fullback as the Rams pick up 16 on that play, and Arlen Harris is in the backfield on 1st down inside Cardinal territory. Bulger to throw. Plenty of time, and flips it into a pile, and it's incomplete as we get a look at, or if it is complete, they didn't pick up much. There's Calvin Pace, the 1st-round pick out of Wake Forest, who is playing the run quite well. They're hoping that he'll adjust to improving the pass rush for that Cardinal defensive line. Ray Thompson, Ronald McKinnon. Thompson hurt his neck last week and carried away on a stretcher, but back playing. And Dexter Jackson, the Super Bowl MVP from the Packers, who was battling a respiratory illness during the week, missed practice Friday, but is in there today. It was officially incomplete into the pile. Arlen Harris still in the backfield on 2nd down. Bulger to throw. And has a man inside the 15-yard line. That's Torrey Holt. It's another catch and another 1st down for the Rams. 38-yard pickup. Holt leads the NFL in receptions. He's got over 1,100 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns, which was his goal coming into the season, his goal for the entire season. And here beats the coverage.
And you can see that Torrey started in that slot position.
70 is eligible.
And he just simply runs down the field and runs a skinny post pattern, inside post. But you have to get hands on him and impede his progress down the field, or he's going to do that all afternoon.
So the Rams hoping to add to a 7-0 lead. Marshall Faulk back in, and that's the fullback. Good speed, moving. Bulger fakes, has it, is looking for Isaac Bruce. Gets a touchdown Rams. And just like that, the Rams ripping into the Cardinals in the opening quarter here in Tempe. Isaac Bruce, referred to as Bruce Almighty earlier this year, passed Henry Ellert as the all-time yardage receiving leader for the Rams.
Play action pass, a little boot, and Wendell Bryant was the left defensive end that did not keep contained, and he let the quarterback go outside. And when you give the quarterback that clean of a look and you have a receiver like Isaac Bruce, he will find a way to get open in the end zone.
So a 14-yard touchdown catch after the Marshall Faulk 1-yard run, and Jeff Wilkins extra point makes it 14-0. And after the whipping in Cleveland last week, Arizona has not responded well so far. 14-0 Rams. Isaac Bruce with a touchdown catch after Torrey Holt caught a deep pass to set up the Rams' second touchdown of the game. 14-0 with 3:35 here remaining in the opening quarter. And Dave McGinnis, his offense has moved the ball but been stopped. His defense hasn't stopped anybody.
No, and this is so far a mirror image of what happened last week, and scoring it at 44-6 against the Cleveland team that going into that game was struggling big time.
Jeff Wilkins to kick it off, and this will be Josh Scobie from the 5-yard line. Across the 30. And run down about the 36-37 yard line.
We can see Isaac Bruce on that last touchdown. He's isolated down here. Bulger's going to play action pass and roll this way because the defensive end lost contain. But this is what the Cardinal secondary is not able to do, is to run around and stay with, whether it's Isaac Bruce in this case or Torrey Holt in another case. They can't do that in the secondary. They have to get pressure up front.
And Marc Bulger 7 of 7 today, 89 yards and a touchdown. Quite a contrast from the last couple of weeks. We'll talk more about that when Marc's back on the field. Right now the Cardinals have to try and stay in this game, and Jeff Blake will throw on first down, and good protection intended for Bolden, but incomplete.
And what we're already saying is the Cardinals have to go away from the run once again, like they have so many times this year, because they're already behind in the football game. We're not even through the fourth quarter. They're down by 2 touchdowns. And this team right now, Jeff Blake and this young receiving core, they're not designed to throw the football and make a living at it.
Jeff Blake's having a 3-year contract when he came here to replace Jake Plummer. Of course, Cordell Stewart was in the mix as well, and Anquan Bolden, the rookie receiver, Brian Gilmore on the other side. They hope that Brian Johnson, one of the other rookies on this team from Penn State, can help create some positive yardage. Blake on the run, out across the 40 to the 45-yard line where he goes out of bounds, and it'll be 3rd down. Jeremetrius Butler running him out after about an 8-yard pickup.
So this is just the difference between the Cardinal offense and the Ram offense. You see Jeff Blake having to get out of the pocket because of pressure. On the other side, Bulger has had the privilege of just standing in there and looking for somebody or getting outside and having receivers get loose. The matchups aren't good as far as the Cardinal receiving core against this Ram secondary.
3rd and 2 for the Cardinals, trailing 14-0. They're right at their own 45-yard line. From the shotgun, that's Bolden moving around. Looks like, and we've got a flag. There was a lot of movement in the Cardinal backfield.
Ball start, number 83, offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
You know, they're moving Bolden around so the defense can't get a good jam on him at the line of scrimmage, and they're trying to hide him. But right here you can see Johnson in the slot. He's supposed to stay stationary where Bolden's moving from side to side. You can see right there, all it takes is a flinch, illegal procedure.
All right, 3rd and 7 from the 40, so it makes it a little bit more difficult from the shotgun. Blake has it. Fires on the right side, complete, and has a Cardinal first down. That is Brian Gilmore, who is one of the speed guys, one of the NFL's fastest players.
This is a great job by Brian, and this is what they need, is they need some receiver for the Cardinals to step up and be productive. Bolden's doing a great job, but Jeff Blake needs at least one more target, preferably 2, in order to convert on 3rd downs consistently.
And he beat Jeremetrius Butler on that play. He and Fisher have been playing very well, have developed and gotten better each week. On 1st and 10, the Cardinals trailing by a couple of touchdowns near midfield. Marcel Shipp, the lone back in the backfield, and he'll get the football. Shipp with a couple of yards. It'll bring up a 2nd down. Ryan Pickett on the tackle for the Rams.
You know, Chris, talking with Coach McGinnis earlier this week, he made an analogy between this Ram defense and the Tampa defense of years gone by when Lovie Smith was down there. And there is a huge analogy, but what you have to do, just like you do with Tampa Bay, run the football in the middle of the field.
2nd down and 7 as you see scores from around the league, and we'll check on that Seattle game in a moment. And flags fly. Between turnovers and penalties, the Cardinals make things worse.
Ball start. 70. Offense. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
Let's get an NFL update. Check in with JB at the Fox Network Center.
Hey, Chris and Kelly, Seattle had a 17-point lead over Baltimore in the 4th. Baltimore has battled back. That 40-yard field goal by Matt Stouffer has now tied it up at 41. We are now moving to overtime. Back to Chris and Kelly. Hey, Kelly, how goes it, buddy?
Right, thanks, James. An incentive for the Rams, who, of course, came in tied with Seattle in the NFC West. And if Seattle were to lose that game or the Rams win, they'd be alone in 1st place. Marcel Shipp dancing and weaving down inside the 45-yard line, making up yardage after the penalty. And Aeneas Williams helping to make the stop. As we look at the standings here.
Well, and keep in mind that Seattle and St. Louis meet in St. Louis later on this year, so that Seattle game is huge, just like this game is. This is kind of a trap game for this Ram team. They know that if they can get through this, they have a very favorable picture going forward.
And the Cardinals, when they did, all 3 of their wins have come at home. They beat teams like the Packers and the 49ers and the Bengals right here. Much hotter temperatures than what we have today. Damian Anderson in the backfield on 3rd down. Blake from the shotgun. Fires and way over the head of Anquan Bolden. It'll bring up a 4th down. That's the end of the 1st quarter with the Rams leading the Cardinals 14-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local station. Rams will start the 2nd quarter getting the football and leading 14-0 as the Cardinals, with Scott Player in, averaging more than 44 yards per punt, ready to kick it. Dane Looker standing at his own 10 in the shadows. He'll let it go, and it bounces into the end zone. So the Rams will take over at their own 20-yard line. So far, Marc Bulger has been perfect. The Rams with a 14-0 lead and trying to get more. At Sun Devil Stadium, the Rams with a 14-0 lead. They have the football along with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers, and we're glad to have you with us. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Ram offense, a total of 11 plays, and from their own 20 on 1st and 10. Bulger the give to Marshall Faulk, who already has a touchdown in the game. He's got some room up around the 30, 29-yard line. It'll be 2nd down.
The Rams are really having their way. That time it was just a simple run play. The guard pulls from the right side, leads Marshall around the end. What makes the Rams so tough right now, you can see right there, starting at your 39, 7 plays, 39 yards, starting at 36, 4 plays, 64 yards. They really haven't had to sustain anything yet, but you put Marshall in the backfield and get a little running game going. That's what really makes this offense click. 2nd and 2.
And Marshall will get a chance for the 1st down, and he'll have it. And boy, you know, this Ram offense. It used to be the greatest show on turf. Marshall said, hey, we're running out of turf, but it can be grass. It can be, they can play anywhere. They have enough weapons to light it up.
You're absolutely right. And when Marshall is on the field, it not only adds everything that he does physically, but the mental side of his game is really what's important, because in pass protection, he aligns a fullback. He's in unison with that offensive line. When he was out, that's when they had pass protection problems as well.
And at that time, they were more of a blue-collar offense, if you can imagine that. Here on first down, protecting a 14-0 lead. Bulger to throw, some pressure, and Bulger's going to go down. Sacked at his own 20-yard line, and finally, the Cardinal defense putting some heat on Bulger.
Yeah. And they're getting it from their defensive line. Russell Davis, number 98, the right tackle. You can see him right here. And this is extremely rare thus far this year. And that's just a good move. A little pat on the right shoulder pad and just go by him. This is exactly what they haven't been getting hardly any of this year so far.
And Russell Davis, they missed him last week in Cleveland, did not play because of a respiratory illness. Glad to be back. On 2nd and 19, the Cardinals said they were going to blitz and try to put pressure on Bulger up the middle. He'll throw again and has his tight end on the right side for a completion. That's Brandon Manumaleena. Let's check in with James Brown in LA for another update.
Hey, Chris, Adam Vinatieri had his first field goal attempt in overtime blocked in Houston. Not the second one. He bangs home this 28-yarder. New England goes 9-2 for the first time ever. 8th consecutive victory in overtime. That's a league record, and it's still tied in Baltimore. Let's go back to Chris and Kelly.
Thanks, James. So they escape an upset on the road. That's what the Rams are hoping to do here, protecting a 14-0 lead on 3rd and 9. Marshall Faulk in the backfield. Bulger to throw. Good protection. And it's caught in Cardinal territory. Isaac Bruce leaping high in the air across the 50 to give the Rams another first down.
This is what makes the Rams so tough. You can see Isaac right here. He's just going to go down and run a deep in route. The key is you need a ton of protection in order to let that route develop, and the Rams consistently get that protection, especially now with the fullback position being settled a little bit, and more importantly, Marshall Faulk being back in the backfield.
And Isaac Bruce with another big catch, and Marc Bulger has not missed. 9 of 9, 119 yards passing already. Some movement on the line, and we're going to have a flag. Let's check out some scores from around the league. Denver leading the Bears. Bears, of course.
Number 28, offense, 5 yards. Still first down.
Falcons upset in mind against Tennessee, and the Bengals, a team that Arizona beat right here, leading San Diego.
Yeah, that's an important game for them, because after that big win last week and upsetting KC, the trap game is then to have to play San Diego. They have to come out with a win right there.
And that Bears team, that defense gave this Ram offense a tough time last week. Marc Bulger had to rally the team to victory. 1st and 15. Bulger to throw. Going deep down the right side. And incomplete. Flags fly. He was throwing for Isaac Bruce. Ronaldo Hill on the coverage. And we'll.
Illegal contact. Number 21, defense, 5 yards. An automatic first down.
You talked about the coverage.
You can see right here, you're going to Isaac Bruce on a double move right there, out and up. And Hill just has to grab him. Either that or it's going to be a touchdown. A
slight bump, but they call it on Ronaldo Hill. So the Rams will get a first down. You know, Isaac Bruce worked as long as he's been in the league, a 10-year veteran, in the offseason. One of the hardest workers to increase his speed. He worked with Charlie Francis, the noted track coach. And it certainly has paid off. On first down, they're going to run Marshall Faulk on the right side, dancing around. Not a lot of room. Ronaldo Hill, who just was flagged, is up to make the tackle. It'll be 2nd and long for the Rams.
You talk about the Rams receivers, not only Isaac Bruce, but Torrey Holt. If you want to make a video of how to play the position and play it well, the little things, kind of the old school type of playing receiver, those are the guys that you want to highlight. If you want to teach a young man how to play the position, focus on these two guys playing today.
And Torrey Holt, he's not that loudmouth, hey, look at me, you know, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens kind of player, but his numbers are better this year. 2nd and 11 from the 49 of Arizona. That's Faulk in motion. Bulger to throw. Protection across the middle, and it's incomplete. intended for Torrey Holt. And it'll bring up 3rd down. That's the first incompletion for Bulger, who in the last 2 games has felt a lot of pressure.
You can see Torrey Holt just going to make an inside move on Hill right there. Decent coverage. Does a good job. What happened in the backfield is just a little bit of pressure, and that's the key. Is you can't let Bulger sit in the pocket and get a good clean look at everything.
And the last 2 games, it was slow starts for him, early interceptions that affected things. Here, a comfortable lead on 3rd and 11. Dane Lucker's in the game. Bulger has some time, throwing deep for Torrey Holt, and it is intercepted in the Cardinal end zone, and it's going to be run out by David Barrett, and a Bulger turnover gives the Cardinals the ball back. So maybe this will kickstart the Arizona offense. Rams with a 14-0 lead. The Cardinals have the football. Welcome back at Sun Devil Stadium. The NFL on Fox with Kelly Stouffer and Chris Myers. Marc Bulger suffering the interception. He came in at his last 3 games having thrown 6 interceptions and only 3 touchdowns.
And what the Cardinals did there is they only rushed 3. They dropped 8 into coverage in a 3-deep zone, and he threw a post pattern into that, which is a no-no.
The Rams, another giveaway for the Cardinals, only their 9th takeaway this year. David Barrett's interception sets up a first down for Jeff Blake to throw. And he hits a man. That's Gilmore. Brought down in Ram territory. Brian Gilmore with a nice catch before Aeneas Williams brought him down. A 32-yard pickup for the Cardinals.
You can see Brian getting a good release off the line of scrimmage. An inside post route against man-to-man coverage. He has safety help inside, but if you do that with timing, that's the result right there. They need some productivity out of that position.
That's right. Somebody else other than Anquan Bolden. And Gilmore broke his leg last year, had to work his way back. One of the fastest guys in the league and the fastest on the team, certainly, on 1st and 10 with Marcel Shipp in the backfield from just inside the Ram 49. Rams showing blitz. Blake had some time. He's going to run it down inside the 40. The 30 is where he goes out of bounds. Slipping and sliding. Travis Fisher ran him down. 19-yard pickup and a first down.
And the Rams are bringing pressure. You can see Tino Isamoa off the right side right there from his strong linebacker position. That leaves the opening right there that Blake ends up running through. You can see number 50, Tino Isamoa, chasing him down the line, and then a little acting job at the end trying to get the 15 tacked on there.
And of course the Cardinals only have 3 rushing touchdowns this year. 2 of those belong to Jeff Blake. He threw an interception early in which the Rams took back and eventually scored. Now helps him get a first down inside the 30. And he'll run with Marcel Shipp inside the 19 down to around the 15-yard line. Shipp with a first down before Aeneas Williams brings him down after a pickup of 14.
And that's exactly what you have to do. You have to let these guys at 330 pounds apiece just line up, come off in zone blocking, get level number 1 if you can get off to level number 2, but just steamroll these guys right there and give that. Marcel Shipp has the ability to get up inside in a hurry. And
they have said, the Ram defenders, that Marcel Shipp is the Cardinals' best runner, whether Emmitt Smith is in there or not. Of course, inactive today. From the 15, first down. Blake fakes and flips and has James Hodgins, the former Ram, who was such an important part of Marshall Faulk's success from the fullback position.
And Marshall talked to us about that. He misses that guy big time right there. He still wishes he was on the other side of the ball. But that's what the Cardinals have to do, is they have to mix it up. They have to hammer Shipp up in behind that big offensive line and then play action pass. That was just a good job by Archuleta, realizing what his pass coverage responsibility was.
So after successive gains of 32 yards, 19 yards, and 14 yards, they lose a little. And it'll be second down at a long 10. We'll stretch it that way. They have split Bolden on the right side.
And no one in the backfield there with the quarterback.
Blake to throw. Short at the 10. Completed to his tight end, Freddie Jones. It won't be enough for the first down. That'll bring up 3rd and 5.
The thing that happens when you have no one in the backfield with the quarterback, you have to expect pressure like Blake did, and that ball has to come out because you're not going to have much time. A good job of just finding the tight end over the middle of the field. He's your outlet. Get it loose because you don't have much time.
Freddie Jones, a big tight end with 3 touchdown catches this year at 6'4", 260, signing here last year as a free agent. Expected big things out of him, and he said coming into this year he still had a lot to prove to this Cardinal football team. An important 3rd and 5. Ship the lone back. Rams showing blitz. Bolden moving out wide to the left. Blake throws, and that is complete inside the 5 to Brian Johnson, the rookie from Penn State. It'll be close to a first down. It is a first down for the Cardinals, so a crisp-looking drive has 1st and goal.
There's trips to the other side of the field, and they isolate Johnson by himself on the right side. A great job of Jeff Blake and Johnson being on the same page and knowing down and distance in the football game. 1st and goal from, we'll call it the 4. Marcel Ship with James Hodgins in the backfield. Bolden's on the right side. Gilmore on the left. They give it a Ship. Straight ahead. Not much. Clock running here with 6:15 and counting to play. 14-0 Rams. Jeff Blake trying to get the Cardinals on the board. Impressive on this drive. Has mixed his passes with Ship rather nicely. You're right, and that's the key right there, Chris, is his Ship has been mixed in there, running the ball effectively. I would like to see down here in the deep +5 area, smash it up in there with this huge offensive line and a very good fullback in a Hodgkin and Ship behind him. The drive began after a Barrett interception of a Bulger overthrow on 2nd and goal. Fakes, throws, and off the hands of Hodgins at the 5-yard line. He had some room. It'll be 3rd and goal for the Cardinals. Down on the goal line, play action pass out of a definite running situation. It's almost a sure touchdown. You have to make the throw. Jeff does right there. You have to make the catch. Hodgins doesn't do it at the other end. He's used to running into somebody. He's not used to catching the football. So on 3rd down, as you see scores from around the league, Seattle still in overtime, and the Rams watching that one close because both the Seahawks and Rams came into the day with a 7-3 record. As you get a look at Hodgins behind Dave McGinnis. And Bolden is right there. Keep an eye on that big-bodied receiver down here in the +4. Shadows in the end zone on 3rd and goal from the 4. And Blake to throw, and it's nearly intercepted into triple coverage on Anquan Bolden. Aeneas Williams, the former Cardinal, who played here through the 90s and went to so many Pro Bowls, helping to tip that and keep a touchdown out of his hand. And there he is right there. He's bracketed inside out with Archuleta outside and Aeneas Williams inside. Jeff Blake has to understand that and go somewhere else. Yeah, if he's the guy that we all know is the playmaker. There's the backside of it right there. And Freddie Jones. Yeah, receivers sometimes think they're way more open than they actually are from our vantage point in the pocket, but that was the place to go, to the opposite side. Bolden was doubled. A former quarterback, 7 years in the NFL, you certainly would know. Neil Rackers, the former Bengal, who was 2 for 2 last week with a field goal. And the kick is good, so the Cardinals are on the board, but trailing 14-3. Welcome back along with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers, the NFL on Fox, as the Cardinals get ready to kick off something Dave McGinnis called the scatter, to try and throw off the Ram return game. You're exactly right. The kick return don't have the advantage of pointing out their guys that they're supposed to block. So you'll see they're going to break this and either kick it away. They actually have onside out of this. It'll be interesting to see what they do here, but it's to gain an advantage in your coverage. And the Rams have had problems on special teams. They haven't had any big returns. Mike Furry and Arlen Harris are back deep. Harris averaging just under 24 yards a kickoff return, and here it goes as they split, and it will be Arlen Harris. A nice kick by Rackers, and he'll down into the end zone. So all that running and circling sounded good, but it didn't add up to much. The Rams will take over from their own 20 with a 14-3 advantage here in the 2nd quarter. Here in Arizona, the Rams a 14-3 lead, and if they win today, could be in first place in the NFC West all by themselves, because the Seahawks blew a 14-point lead in Baltimore with 8 minutes to go and lost in overtime. Let's check in with James Brown in a moment or two. He'll show us how it was done as the Rams take over here, 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. And the give is to Marshall Faulk, who has some room out across the 30-yard line. And he has a first down, and James Brown has an update.
Hey, Chris and Kelly, you mentioned the score. Here's the visual embellishment. Matt Stouffer with this 42-yard field goal to win it for Baltimore. Baltimore trailed by 17 midway through the fourth, come all the way back to win it, and they lead in the AFC North. Back to Kelly and Chris.
All right, thanks, James. And the Rams played the Seahawks in St. Louis on December 14th. Of course, the Rams lost up in Seattle in a close one earlier this year. 1st and 10 after the Marshall Faulk run, and Marshall gets it again on the right side and has some room out across the 38-yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd down as Ronald McKinnon makes the stop. McKinnon, a linebacker for the Cardinals, who once had 3 interceptions in one game. That tied a Cardinal team record for a linebacker.
Marshall is so good at selling as if the run's going to be inside, all the while knowing that the run is outside. Just like that time, his fullback was going outside, and he comes up and sticks his nose in the line of scrimmage, making everyone think it's going there. Then all of a sudden, he bounces it outside right in time, in step with his fullback.
On 2nd down, Dane Looker in the ball game. They need 6. Marshall gets it again and has some room, dancing and weaving, but not quite to a 1st down. And when we talked to Russell Davis of the Cardinal defensive line, he said about Marshall Faulk that, you know, you can say guys slowed down a little bit, but just like Emmitt Smith, what they have in smarts, wise view of the game, they make up in whatever they lost. Speed-wise.
Right. And you could really see that when Marshall was out the last few weeks, you know, 4 out of the last 5 weeks. And he brings that not only to the running game, but also to the pass protection, which we already have seen has been a big deal with him in the backfield.
3rd down for the Rams. They need just 2. Bulger to throw and hits Torrey Holt for a 1st down. It's as if the Ram offense, whatever they needed, they dial it up, they get it.
Well, the most important thing right there, they're in a 3rd and short situation, and really that means that their entire playbook is on the table. They can do anything, but you have to get up in Torrey Holt's face, be aggressive with him at the line of scrimmage, and not let him so easily inside, or that's like going into the candy store and just filling your pockets right there.
8-yard pickup, so the Rams moving once again. Arlen Harris in the backfield with Marshall Faulk. On 1st and 10, 3:30 to go before we hit the half, and the Rams trying to add to a 14-3 lead. That's Bruce in motion, and the give is to Marshall Faulk, who's got some room down inside the 40. It's a 1st down. Wendell Bryant, David Barrett on the stop.
And there was a whole lot of window dressing. You can see right there, Bruce is going in motion. Arlen Harris has already gone out there, and then they run a simple running play to the opposite side. A lot of window dressing going on the right side, and in the end, it's a simple running play with Marshall Faulk getting on the edge. Cam
Cleland helping out and with a block, a 14-yard pickup, and you see that Marshall Faulk, who again had 100 yards last week rushing, first time in more than a year. It happened against the Bears. Trying to get to that today and trying to add to the Ram lead. Bruce in motion again. Bulger throws that way and has Isaac at the 35 down around the 32-yard line. And Bulger, the last 2 games where there was talk if he was going to replace by Kurt Warner, he said, hey, last week I was just warming up throwing the ball. It was cold on the sidelines. I didn't even know what all the controversy was about. I didn't think I was coming out.
That was a pretty funny statement, because he said I was the one warming up with him, and I said, well, next time when you get warmed up after halftime, go ask someone else to play catch with so he doesn't have to throw the football.
And Mike Marc said, look, even if Warner would have gone in, it would have just been to jumpstart the team, and Bulger would be back as the starter this week. They never had to go that route. They still picked up the win, and Bulger is still throwing here. And it's intercepted. That's Ronaldo Hill. He could take it to the house. Inside the 20. Ronaldo Hill has a Cardinal touchdown. Marc Bulger, his 2nd interception of the game. A 70-yard run back on the pickoff from Ronaldo Hill, who was flagged earlier for pass interference. And the Cardinals, with the extra point, can get to within 4 of the Rams.
And this is exactly what the Cardinal defense hasn't been doing. Not only not getting any takeaways, but they certainly haven't been getting any points off the defensive side of the ball. If you're going to give it away offensively, you better make sure you get some defensively yourself.
They had 8 takeaways coming into this game for their first 10 games. They have 2 takeaways here in the first 2 quarters against Bulger and the Rams. Racker's extra point, and it is a 14-10 game. So the Cardinals answer. The Rams will get the ball back, but Ronaldo Hill with a touchdown return to the interception. A rally in the desert here at Sun Devil Stadium. Ronaldo Hill, his interception run back of the Marc Bulger pass of 70 yards. Yeah, you need a little error. Getting them their first touchdown of this game and bringing the Cardinals to within 4 of the Rams, who have a chance, if they win today, to lead the NFC West all by themselves.
Right, they certainly seem to have more at stake, but that's exactly how the Rams can keep this Cardinal team in the game, is turning the ball over like that.
That's Arlen Harris and Mike Furry back to return. And you addressed that scatter kickoff before, Neil Rackers. Let's see how this one works. And that will be from the goal line, Arlen Harris. Out across the 25 where he is brought down. It'll be first down for the Cardinals.
You can see Ronaldo Hill right there, and he's going to jump on the tight end, Manu Maliona, and he's just going to follow him inside. It's a zone blitz. He's actually doubled inside. Hill does a good job of coming underneath the route. And obviously the quarterback was just a little bit late on the throw. You can see him look to the right, come back blindly to the left, and he didn't see Hill just sliding underneath right at the last second.
Calvin Pace with a nice block to help spring Hill. But Bulger in the previous 2 games had thrown interceptions early that rattled him. Here he had a 14-0 lead. Their first 2 possessions, the Rams get touchdowns. Their last 2 interceptions, they turn it over. On first down from the 25, Bulger's going to go right back at it and throw. And he has a man. That's Mike Furry. Up across the 30. It'll bring up second down. Mike Marc, of course, calls all the plays. You see that the Rams have allowed 5 returns for touchdowns on punts, on kickoffs. That's an interception run back, obviously, with Ronaldo Hill. And complete to Isaac Bruce up around the 47-yard line.
And the Rams are going a hurry-up situation right here. Obviously, in this half, I think this is where they're very good. This is what this offense is really designed to do. Bulger just has to be careful and take what the defense gives him.
21-yard pickup. They have 4 wide receivers set, and Marshall Faulk is there as well. He's throwing on the right side and has Dane Looker for the catch. Bulger, in a sense, you know, this is his, what, 17th game starting as an NFL player, so that's 1 season. So he's pretty much gone through a rookie year and still learning things on the job.
Oh, absolutely, and I think he's in this transition phase where you go from a rookie where you totally understand that you don't know what's going on and you have to work within the system, to now he has a bigger understanding of offenses and the defenses, but now you have to know when to apply the new knowledge that you have, and you can't let that have you forcing balls into places that you shouldn't.
On 2nd and 7, Kurt Warner, who calls the plays in through Mike Marc to Marc Bulger. Bulger to throw, plenty of time. Has a man, that's Torrey Holt at the 45. Gets down around the first down marker at the 42-43 yard line. Kobe Reinhardt, part of a nickel package for Arizona, in on the stop. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. And the hurry up continuing here, and they'll give it to Marshall Faulk. Big hole! Down around the 38-yard line, it'll be a Ram first down. Adrian Wilson on the stop. Marshall Faulk with a 6-yard pickup. The Rams with a 14-10 lead, and they're on the move. With Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers at Sun Devil Stadium. The Rams had a 14-0 lead. The Cardinals have answered. The Rams, after using their 2nd timeout, are on the move. They have 1 timeout remaining. 1st and 10. Just 25 seconds remaining here in the first half from the 38-yard line of Arizona. Bulger to throw. And he has a man. That's Torrey Holt. Down spinning, and he just won't go down. Finally brought down around the 13-yard line.
You have to burn that last time out.
St. Louis.
Dexter Jackson on the tackle. And it is the Rams' final timeout after a 26-yard pickup, a first down. They're going to try and get some more points before the half. Mike Marc's team with a 4-point lead and a first down, just 14 seconds, but no timeouts.
Yeah, they can throw the ball really anywhere they want, probably twice. You throw it across the middle, make sure he's in the end zone.
Marshall Faulk in the backfield. Bulger to throw. Holding the ball. Spins away. He's got some room. Throws in the end zone off the hands of Torrey Holt. He tried to make something happen. 5 seconds remain now. And here comes the field goal unit.
Cardinals do a great job in the secondary. I mean, you have Holt down here. You have Isaac Bruce on the other side. A great deal of pressure. But they were getting good push up front and not letting Bulger sit there and take a good look at things.
So Jeff Wilkins will come on and try his first field goal of the day. 24 of 26 during the year, and leading the NFC in that department. Has become Mr. Reliable from Youngstown State. This is a 29-yard attempt to give the Rams a 7-0 lead. It's up there. It's out there. And it's good there. 17-10. As the first half comes to a close, the Rams lead Dave McGinnis to the Cards by 7.
The Visa Halftime Report is brought to you by Visa. If you love the NFL, it's everywhere you want to be.
Well, Marc Bulger continuing to struggle. He has thrown 2 picks, 4th straight game with 2 picks. Rams up 17-10, also the 7th game this season that Bulger has done now.
All right, welcome back, Jake Plummer. Glad to see you doing well. Play action roll light. Doing what Howie says Shanahan likes him to do. Finds Rod Smith for a 1-yard score. Touchdown 7-6 Denver over the Bears at the half. Raiders and the Chiefs. Chiefs all over the Raiders 14-0. Go ahead, JB. That's your job there.
You got it. Bengals, of course, trying to see if they can stay abreast in the AFC North with Baltimore having won. And can you believe it? The Falcons, the only team in the NFL that hasn't won at home.
Yeah, they had a 21-0 lead. But look at this. Seattle, Baltimore, Hasselbeck, 5 touchdown passes on the day. This one to Bobby Ingram, a touchdown, 41-24. Seattle, Ravens back, Anthony Wright to Marcus Robinson, 9-yarder. It's 38 now and 41. And then with 4 seconds left, Stouffer nails this 40-yarder, sends the game into overtime, 41 all. And then this 42-yarder in overtime. Ravens win this football game, 44-41. Unbelievable. San Francisco at Green Bay, Favre to Ferguson. Beautiful behind-the-back catch. Turns it in. 16-yard score. 14-0 Green Bay. Then Rattay back. Terrell Owens. Beautiful throw. Great catch. 24-yard touchdown. 17-10 Pack over the 49ers. Costly mistake by Rattay. Pressure. Lails it out. Behind everybody. Antoine Edwards takes it off. 20-10. Green Bay wins this game over the 49ers. Detroit, Minnesota, Joey Harrington, Gazi Hakeem, but Corey Chapin steps in front, takes it 32 yards for the touchdown. Vikings up 17-7. Next series, Herring again looking for Kirkus. Brian Williams now steps in front of this one, takes it back 42 yards for the touchdown. 3rd interception of the game for Williams, 24-14. Minnesota over Detroit. Carolina visiting Dallas. Bill Parcells watching Carter. Loftus 5-yard touchdown pass to tight end Jeff Robinson. It's 17-10. Cowboys over the Panthers. Jay Galone then. Play action at the goal line. Hoover wide open from 1 yard out. 17 all. Carolina, Dallas. And then Carter heads off to Richie Anderson, who then laterals to Avion Cason. 16-yard touchdown. Dallas 24-20 over Carolina. 8-3 the Cowboys go to. New Orleans and Philadelphia. Deuce McAllister, 184 yards rushing on the day. 76 of them, JB, on this play. It's 23-14 Eagles over the Saints. And then McNabb, another wonderful day for him, rolling out, hits John Ritchie from 2 yards, 33-20 Eagles over the Saints. Colts and the Bills. 4th and goal inside the 1. Edwin James pounds it in for the score. 2-point conversion is good. 17-14 Colts win this football game. New England and Houston. Under a minute to go. 4th and 1. Brady to Graham. 4-yard touchdown. We're tied up at 20 all. And then Vinatieri in overtime nails this 28-yarder. Had a chance to win it earlier before overtime. Missed it. Nails this one. 23-20. New England takes care of Houston. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Tommy Maddox play action at the goal line. Finds the tight end Bruner. Mark Bruner, 1-yard score, 13-6. Steelers beat the Browns. And then Pennington lost this beautiful shot into the corner of the end zone for Santa Miles from 4 yards out. At capped a 12-play, 94-yard drive. 13. Put my hand in this too. 13-10. Jets.
Oh, they're going to need that again.
I'm going to need that again, my friend. Okay, buddy, I'll get it for
St.
you.
Louis winning the battle of total yards despite 2 picks by Bulger.
Well, 2 more picks, and going into this game, 182 giveaways since 1999, the most of any team in the league. They turn it over. It really doesn't make a difference who they play. It all depends on St. Louis. If they protect the ball, they can beat anybody in the league, but you never know when they're going to protect the ball.
Well, and you want to get something scary here. Marshall Faulk looks like Marshall Faulk again.
That's scary. Seattle loses today. They get Minnesota at home, at Cleveland. They get Seattle at home. Then they get Cincinnati home, and they finish up at Detroit. What do you think?
Cincinnati is going to be a real challenge. Seattle lost that heartbreaker in Baltimore today, and you got to figure Seattle may go down on the backside of that. Now St. Louis is controlling the division.
Kurt Warner, Terry, you talked about Kurt Warner in pregame.
Marshall Faulk looks like Marshall Faulk the rest of the season. I'll take St. Louis. Marshall Faulk with 60 yards on the ground in the first half. While they continue to check that, let me just tell you that the Visa halftime will continue after this.
With Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers here at Sun Devil Stadium. Halftime, the Rams a 17-10 lead over the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams jump out to a 14-0 advantage after Marshall Faulk scored on this touchdown. This gave the Rams a 7-0 lead, his 4th rushing touchdown this season. And with that, Marshall Faulk moved to within 1 career touchdown of tying Walter Payton for 6th on the all-time list. And these are the most touchdowns, as you see. Jerry Rice still playing. Emmitt Smith inactive in this game, but Marshall Faulk moving up the list. We'll be back with more on the Rams and Cardinals from Tempe in just a moment.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
And welcome back here in Arizona. You're watching the NFL on Fox along with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers, as we're getting ready for the 3rd quarter, and the Cardinals trailing the Rams, rallying to get to within 7. Our Kevin McCabe spoke with Dave McGinnis moments ago.
All right, guys, I'm with Coach Dave McGinnis. Mac, you get the interception for a touchdown, but you're still down by 7. How important is this first defensive stand in the second half?
Well, it's going to be very, very big for us. I mean, it's huge for us in this second half. It's a one-possession game. We've got to be able to turn them back now. That offense they have is explosive. We got to stop them another time on defense, and then we've got to score when we get in the red zone on offense, Kev.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave McGinnis. A lot of people said they quit on him last week. Certainly not today, guys.
And thank you. All 3 of the Arizona wins, of course, have come at home this year. All of the losses for the Rams have come on the road. Marc Bulger, last 2 games a little shaky. 2 interceptions here in the first half.
Well, the interesting thing is the interceptions came when there was no pressure. I mean, it came in zone type of soft zones where he had to just throw underneath, and he threw into coverage. That last interception to Hill, he threw late. And those are the type of things that he's been doing lately, is just making bad decisions. It's almost like he's trying to interpret too much into the play. And Marc's mentioned that last night in meetings, and Hill made a great play on that, coming underneath late. But a quarterback coming underneath coming back to an underneath route late is disastrous sometimes.
Well, you know, Ronaldo Hill's had quite a day already. We still have a half to go. In the opening quarter here, he gets beat on the touchdown. Isaac Bruce gives the Rams a 14-0 lead.
And that was really a matter of time. You're not going to stick with Isaac Bruce, but this is where he makes up for it right there. He does a good job of reading the route, coming underneath the big tight end, and then more importantly, the defense is not only getting takeaways, but they're directly getting points, and that's important for this football team because they're struggling on the offensive side of things.
So an uphill battle for the Cardinals if they're to slow down the Rams as we get ready to kick it off in the 3rd quarter. And again, with Seattle, the Seahawks having lost in Baltimore, they blew the lead. The Rams, if they win, they're alone in first place in the NFC West. And then certainly have the Seahawks later in the year and can control their own destiny in terms of nailing down a division or possibly home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, you have to take care of business on the road. And the interesting thing about the Rams and the Seahawks is neither one of them gotten it done on the road. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the year.
All right, Cardinals will kick it off. That's Neil Rackers, Arlen Harris deep for the Rams. And Harris up at the 6. Out across the 25, down around the 30-yard line where the Rams will take over. Damian Anderson on the stop. And a look at the first half stats, and the rushing yards for the Cardinals telling, showing that they can move the ball.
And more importantly, they're in the game where they can continue to rush the football, because that's the formula they need to win with, is they need to control the football.
Unnecessary roughness, personal foul, number 56 of the kicking team, 15 yards, first down.
This is the type of thing that absolutely kills teams, is stuff like this. You know, that didn't even figure into the play, and it's going to give 15 yards to a team that doesn't need it right there. You just can't do that kind of thing. It puts your team at a disadvantage.
Dave McGinnis talking to LeVar Woods, who was called for the infraction, and Dave was trying to get his special teams players more involved, get some more tacklers on the field.
That's not the way to do it right there.
Rams with a 17-10 lead and the football up at their own 44-yard line. 1st and 10. Marshall Faulk in the backfield. Fake, and Bulger rolls and flips to Marshall Faulk down around the 45 of Arizona, where he goes out of bounds.
And you would look early in this game, early in this half, of doing stuff like this with Bulger, getting it to your back, getting it to your tight end. Marshall does a great job in the flat, and he's a mismatch with anybody in the secondary. And that's the kind of thing you have to do, especially to get Bulger settled down going into the early part of the second half.
16-yard pickup. Marshall has been active today, so while he's standing there, Arlen Harris, the lone back in the backfield. Brandon Manumaleana in motion over to the right side. A 3 wide receiver set for Bulger, who has a 1st down and gives it to Harris. And he's brought down with a minimal gain, if any. Marshall Faulk now 2nd all-time when it comes to receiving yards for a running back on that last slip. Ironically, the Ram running backs do not have a touchdown catch this year, but Marshall Faulk, a versatile player, former MVP, runs the ball, catches the ball, and still active. And when we asked him about, how much longer he'd want to play, he'll say he'll slow down at 30. Marshall Faulk said it's not an age factor, it's a fun factor. That's what he's looking for, and he's still having fun. From the 41, 2nd and 11. Bulger to throw. Torrey Holtz off his hands around the 15-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10.
The thing that makes Marshall so special is he brings all those things to the table, but we've already seen the stat that count. He gets into the end zone. He just passed Walter Payton, and that's what he brings to this team, is he cashes it in, he finishes things.
Yeah, one more touchdown, he'll tie Walter Payton for 6th on the all-time list and possibly move up the ladder. On 3rd and 11, let's see what Mike Marc calls here with Marshall in the game. And Brandon Manumaleana lining up in the backfield.
Watch the pressure right here.
And there is pressure, and Bulger goes down. Another sack for the Cardinal defense. Dennis Johnson in on the attack.
And the key is you get to bring pressure when you have definite passing situations, and they do right here. 3rd and 11 is a passing situation for every team in the league. That's when you can pressure the quarterback, and Johnson does a good job of coming off the edge after everybody else is tied up, and he was just flat on blocked.
Dennis Johnson came into the game with a couple of sacks, and that's Damian Anderson back to receive Sean Lendetta's punt. Anquan Bolden is back for the punt return. Check that, my mistake. And Lendetta said he might use the sun and the shadows here if it can cause problems for the return man, and Bolden lets it go into the end zone. So the Cardinals defense, as Dave McGinnis said, hey, we need to stop and then do something. They'll have the ball. 1st and 10 from their own 20, trailing by 7. Welcome back on the campus at Arizona State University in this NFL on Fox reminder. Spend your Thanksgiving with us. Packers and Lions. Green Bay winning today. Marshall Faulk, an interesting performance today, as Brett Favre had an interesting performance and interview on the pregame show with Terry Bradshaw. More of that coming up on Thanksgiving. 1st down for the Cardinals. A little bit of a reverse to Anquan Bolden, the rookie from Florida State. Some room out across the 40. Jason Sehorn helps to run him down, but they get him involved in a big pickup of 23 for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Bolden's the type of player that you have to get into the game however you can. Right there on the reverse, the Rams lose contain, and that's not a guy you want to lose because he knows what to do with the football when he gets it.
Anquan Bolden leading the team with 60 catches. Didn't do much in the first half. 2nd round draft pick has outperformed. In fact, he's probably the top offensive rookie in the NFL so far this year. On 1st down, Marcel Shipp in the backfield. And that's who gets the football. Shipp gets through the right side, across the 45, down into the 42, 43-yard line of the Rams. Robert Thomas on the tackle after a 14-yard pick. Self-destructive move on the part of the Cardinals, who had been moving on offense. And now 2nd and 25 after that penalty.
And to finish the point, Gilmore's doing a great job. It's given Blake another receiver to throw to. That's vitally important here against his defense.
Trailing by 14. Jeff Blake fakes and will throw. Flips it to Marcel Shipp, who gets up around the 49-yard line of Arizona. Marcel Shipp, 67 yards rushing so far in the game. Gilmore's been the leading receiver for the Cardinals. Bolden only has 2 catches. And of course, Emmitt Smith inactive. He did practice this week. And Emmitt should be able to go next week for the Cardinals.
And because of a big mistake, here we are again at 3rd and long, extremely long in this case. And there aren't many offenses in this league that can consistently get it done against 3rd and 20.
Blake signaling. Fakes. Has time. Throws and has Anquan Bolden inside the 10. Blake creating some time and hitting the rookie receiver from Florida State, Adam Archuleta, bringing him down. But they got out of a big hole for a first down inside the 10.
And you can see him pointing. Jeff Blake is buying time on the other end of this by just moving a little bit to his left in the pocket. But what Bolden does such a tremendous job of is finishing the play, going up high at its highest point and making the catch in the end. He's a big, strong receiver. He does that so well at the other end of the play.
Bolden over 6'1", second-round pick out of Florida State. First down for the Cardinals after a major play. Marcel Shipp pushing power forward down inside the 1 around the goal line. Tawad Gross making the stop for the Rams. It'll be.
And more importantly, it's just a power game. You're 330 up front, lead that big fullback up in there, and let Shipp get it done. Last time they went to more of a finesse run on first down, a draw play. You got to punch him right in the mouth and just take this one in, running it just like that.
And you got to be thinking 3 downs here at the 2nd and goal from the 1. And today they've run the ball very well, but they need to run it better here. That's Marcel Shipp. He won't get in. The Rams piling him up around the goal line.
And you come back right here and you make the Rams do it one more time. You have Hodgins, a big fullback that Marshall Falk wishes he was still on the other side of the field. Let him lead up in there, get Shipp behind that big offensive line, run right at this defense again.
It'll be 3rd and goal. This is an important series of downs or 2 for the Cardinals, because a touchdown then obviously gets them back to within a touchdown of the Rams. And then it's a 1-possession game as we wind down to the 3rd quarter. That's Marcel Shipp, and the Rams are right there to stop him. And now it will be 4th and goal for the Cardinals.
On the goal line, it's all about penetration at the line of scrimmage. Right there, you can see how the line of scrimmage moved in favor of the Rams, and that's what the goal line defense is all about. But you have to make a defensive front defend that on the goal line. You have to be good enough to get 1.5 yards with that 330-pound offensive line.
Robert Thomas, Adam Archuleta, of course, who lives in Chandler, Arizona, nearby, went to Arizona State, making the stop, and they're going for it after losing some yardage on 4th and goal. Marcel Shipp.
And Bolden is right there. Keep an eye on him if they use him or for a decoy.
Shipp is split out wide to the left. Blake in trouble, throws. It's caught and dropped around the goal line. Freddie Jones, the tight end. Don't know if he would have been in if he were able to hang on. The Cardinals get nothing and have to like it. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon in the NFL on Fox. Terrific defensive effort as the Rams stopped the Cardinals and protect a 24-10 lead. So it's 1st and 10 from inside their own 2. Marc Bulger with good speed and Falk in the backfield. Marshall gets it out across the 5-yard line. The defense did its job when the Cardinals gambled on 4th.
Yeah, this is the 4th down play. Blake's going to end up going there, but note the empty backfield. He doesn't have a lot of time, and you have to understand that as we roll this play. The clock has to go off. Right there, I don't have time. He makes a great throw in the end. Freddie Jones has to catch that football. That's a great adjustment by Blake. You have to come down with that.
Cardinals Had the ball for over 7 minutes on that drive and got no points, so in a sense helping the Rams chew up the clock and protect their lead. Marshall Faulk kind of just waiting for some room in the backfield. It'll be 3rd down for the Rams. Dennis Johnson in on the stop for the Cardinals.
This is an important play for this Cardinal defense. You have them backed up. You can create a lot of field position right now, and this is where the Cardinals defense have had trouble all year long, is in 3rd and the mid-range situation here. It's going to be about 3rd and 5, and really the best in the business is this Ram offense right here.
And Dane Looker comes in, a guy who has been reliable in the last couple of weeks, kind of taken the place on 3rd and 5 from the Ram 7 of Ricky Prohl. In fact, he talks to Ricky Prohl on the phone every now and then. They spoke last week to talk about the role that he fits into, but the run is to Marshall Faulk, who has some room on the right side, and he'll get a 1st down. And just what you said, the Cardinal defense failed to do its job. An 8-yard pickup, and the Rams will keep the ball.
And that's exactly what Marshall Faulk brings to the table. When he's in the game, you can spread him out with 3 wide receivers, a big tight end, and then in the end, you create a lot of seams against that defense in which this guy can find some room.
Marshall Faulk, 73 yards rushing, couple of catches. He has a touchdown. And as we mentioned earlier, 1 touchdown away from tying Walter Payton for 6th on the all-time list. More importantly for the Rams right now, a 1st down from their own 15-yard line. 1:50 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and a 2-touchdown lead. And they'll give it to Faulk again. They'll lose some yardage here. Cardinals were ready for that.
And it's not too late for the Cardinals to still hold this Ram in this backed up situation. Coach McGinnis talked about the poise that's needed on the defensive side of the ball, and we saw it earlier in the games when the Cardinal offense turned the ball over. McGinnis says the Cardinal defense then has to, that quick transition football, they have to hold the offense out of the end zone with a little poise. This is that same type of situation. Hold this Ram offense in a backed up, create some field position for your offensive football team.
2nd down and 12, and Looker is in the game. Faulk, the lone back, that's Torrey Holt moving. And Bulger throwing to Holt at the 20, up across the 21. It'll be 3rd down for the Rams. Marc Bulger, pretty impressive numbers, but the 2 interceptions have really hurt. He's 17 of 22, over 200 yards. He had the touchdown. Now 18 of 23, check that. 18 of 23 in the game, 214 yards. But the interception run back from Ronaldo Hill on the board.
And that's the point. The interceptions right here, that's the difference. He's done a great job of really managing the game, but he's thrown into coverage twice, and it's cost his football team.
Unimportant 3rd down. Bulger didn't play football until his sophomore year in high school. Throwing here and throwing it out of bounds, a wise decision. Remember, he said his parents actually forced him. They said, look, get out there and play football. We don't want you to be 10 years later and say, hey, I never really tried. First game, he broke his collarbone, and then, of course, next year got in and has been playing football ever since.
Yeah, and he's still a pup. As you said before, this is his 17th start. He's 13 and 3 in opportunities he's gotten to start football games. So really, he's in a sense still a rookie out there playing, and he has a lot to learn, and he understands that.
About half of his wins as a starting quarterback have come rallying the team in the final quarter. Went down in a punt. So the Cardinal defense doing its job. Anquan Bolden in the sunlight from his own 28 and has some running room. He's up across the 40, out around the 45-yard line. Bryce Fisher helping to bring him down. So as the 3rd quarter is about to come to an end, the Cardinals have the football trailing by 14. Cardinal rookie Anquan Bolden helping Arizona with its best starting field position in this game from their own 45. His 19-yard punt return, the longest punt return for the Cardinals this year. Marcel Shipp in the backfield. 7 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. And the Cardinals need some points. Blake will throw. Down the middle, he's got Anquan Bolden, who makes a catch and carries it, headed for the end zone, looking back, and it's a touchdown Cardinal. 54 yards. The team's leading receiver caught it and then stayed on his feet and carried it. And when you need points, when you need something to happen, for the Cardinals, you go to the rookie from Florida State.
Yeah, that's amazing. You go to the rookie who's not playing like a rookie. But if you and I know that, obviously the Rams know that, but it didn't help them on that play.
A guy who played some quarterback in high school, actually played in a bowl game for Florida State, said that helped him understand the receiver position, to know what the quarterback is thinking, to know what the defensive backs are thinking. The extra point by Rackers. And now it is a one-possession game. So the Cardinals answer big time after they couldn't get in on their previous drive. On a 4th down, this time it's Anquan to the rescue. It's the end of the 3rd quarter. The Rams hanging on to a 24-17 lead in Arizona. Anquan Bolden answers, getting through Adam Archuleta and the Ram defense to get the Cardinals within a touchdown after his punt return. Then Bolden on the 54-yard catch and carry from Jeff Blake. Blake saying he has that FSU swagger, respectfully for a rookie. Bolden getting the job done.
And we could see Adam Archuleta right there, and he's going to figure big into that play. But the first thing that Adam said when we mentioned Bolden is he doesn't play like a rookie. He is a rookie, but he doesn't play like a rookie.
A guy who studies, works hard every week, as Rackers will kick it off. Arlen Harris and Mike Furry deep for the Rams, who now need to control the clock and protect that lead. That's Arlen Harris across the 25-yard line, where the Rams will take over.
We're going to see Bolden right here, and this is the Tampa 2 defense, and where it's vulnerable is right down the middle of the field. You'll see the middle linebacker is responsible to get under this route. The safety gets stuck on the hash, and Bolden sticks the knife right into the heart of that Tampa defense.
Look at the way he looks back and glances. That's a little bit of a...
Yeah, he made that look easy, and it's not.
And remember, we were at practice on Friday, and he said the way they play the inside of the field, there'll be some opportunities.
Right, and he took advantage of it right there.
So now the Rams have to respond. Good speed, and Falk in the backfield, trailing, leading by 7 after the Cardinals had trailed by as many as 14. They rally to make it close, and Bulger to throw. Attempting for Isaac Bruce. It's intercepted by Ronaldo Hill, his 2nd of the game. Ronaldo Hill down inside the 25. The Rams turn it over. Another Marc Bulger interception.
That's a matter of just not seeing the field clearly. That route actually started on the left side of the field and came all the way across. Bruce started on the other side, and Hill's just waiting. There's no one in his flat, which is where he had to cover, so he just continues to get depth, and the quarterback has to fill that actually more than he sees it.
The ball was thrown high. Does Mike Martz consider, he said the last couple of games, even though Bulger's his starter, to get the offense going? Does he think about Kurt Warner here?
We might find out real quick, I'll tell you that.
Meanwhile, the Cardinals are thinking about a tie game on 1st and 10 from the 23 of Arizona. That's Gilmore in motion. Ship in the backfield. Ship gets it from Blake, and Ship grabbed around the ankles by Grant Wistrom, but he picks up some good yardage. A 6-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down. And Ronaldo Hill, the Rams must have thought coming in they could pick on this guy. He did get beat for the touchdown by Bruce early, but then had the interception run back for a touchdown, and this pick now.
Yeah, but even that touchdown that he gave up to Bruce was a matter more of the time that the quarterback had, not his coverage. He's done a tremendous job.
2nd down and 4 from the 16. They fake to Bolden. Ship gets it and pushes forward close to a 1st down. Robert Thomas on the tackle.
Well, it makes a team good on 3rd down is to be very effective on 1st and 2nd down. The teams that execute well in the first 2 plays are the teams that are leading the league in 3rd down efficiency, and that's exactly how you do it. Good 2 productive runs, 3rd and short, or maybe they even pick up the 1st down right here.
All right, they're going to get the measurement as Jeff Blake looks on. And you know, the Seahawks played on the road and had a big lead and couldn't hold it. A 2-touchdown lead, losing in overtime to Baltimore. The Cardinals trailed by 14 early and then 14 again here in the 2nd half, and are trying to come back. As we see, when you hear a game of inches, that's what they mean.
That's a game of 1 chain link right there.
It'll be 3rd and a chain link in Kelly's description.
Don't turn around and hand the ball off to a running back that's 7 yards in the backfield. Quarterback sneaked us behind. I say it again, you average 331 pounds up front. If you can't get the length of one chain length, then you have a problem.
Marc's looking on, wants his defense to do the same kind of work they did the last time that the Cardinals were down inside the goal line. They stopped him on 4th down. Of course, they didn't stop the Anquan Boldin touchdown catch. And a timeout. Jeff Blake needs one. So an important 3rd down for the Cardinals, who trailed by 7 here in Arizona. With Kelly Stouffer, I'm Chris Myers. Glad to have you with us. Welcome back here in Tempe, Arizona. Rams with a 24-17 lead, but the Cardinals 3rd and inches after the timeout. Damian Anderson was out there. They wanted Marcel Shipp in the backfield, and he's there on this important down for the Cardinals. Shipp gets the ball and gets the 1st down, powering forward inside the 7 of the Rams. And Arizona, all 3 of their wins have come here at home against the Packers, the 49ers, and the Bengals.
Shipp does a good job of running to the softness. The bubble look or the soft look was to the right side, and they probably had a check with me situation for Jeff Blake to run at that very look. And
thinking confidently at home. A Bulger interception has set them up. 2 for Ronaldo Hill in the game. And Jeff Blake said, yeah, we can beat the Rams. We have to play well enough to do so. 1st and goal from the 7. Cardinals trying to tie it. Blake to throw. And misses. Freddie Jones. Boldin was in motion. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
Good job of play action in the backfield, and Boldin's just going to stick inside. You also have the receiver Freddie Jones going to the corner right there.
That's Gilmore.
And this is to the backside. Good coverage all the way around, but that was the actual throw to make. He was just getting pressured by Brian Young in the backfield and didn't have a good time to let it unfold.
So on 2nd and goal, would you run Shipp here? Would you take another shot at the end zone?
See, that's the problem with play action pass and throwing the ball on 1st down, because it puts you behind the 8 ball on 2nd and goal. I think you have to get yourself in a 3rd and manageable situation right here.
And that's Boldin moving toward the ball. Blake will throw it and has Anquan, but he is quickly wrapped up and brought down by DeJuan Gross. So it'll be 3rd down after a minor pickup.
And this is the guy they go to. There's no secret about it, and he's just getting into the flat with the idea that he can make something happen after the play, and Gross does a good job of getting him to the ground, because that isn't your average size receiver right there.
Inside the 4-yard line of the Rams, it'll be 3rd down. You have to be thinking, if you're going to go for it on 4th, and we've seen Dave McGinnis go twice before in this game on 4th, would you do that here now that the situation, the game is a little more manageable? This has to go into the thinking on 3rd down. Marcel Shipp in the backfield. He's the lone back. Blake to throw. Has touchdown. That's Anquan Boldin. Anquan Boldin nearing 1,000 yards as a rookie receiver, but getting the Cardinals to within an extra point of tying this game. And as you pointed out, Kelly, on the previous play, Boldin's a guy to go to.
Absolutely. Why not? They haven't been able to cover him. Everyone knows Adam Archuleta is trying to get inside of him, but he has such a big body and runs good routes. He did a good job of getting inside and not letting the defender cut underneath him.
Rackers the extra point, and it's a tie game. The Cardinals have come back from trailing by 14. It's 20-all in the final quarter here in Arizona. Rookie Anquan Boldin, 6 catches, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. He's at 999 receiving yards for the season, and he has the Cardinals in a 24-24 tie with the Rams here in the final quarter. Again, it comes after another Marc Bulger interception. Bulger with more interceptions this year than touchdowns. That's 16 picks, 15 touchdowns, and 3 of those today. 3 interceptions resulting into 17 points for the Cardinals. The scatter kick. Rackers for Arlen Harris. Harris Brought down around the 26-27 yard line, where the Rams will take over, trying to respond to Anquan Boldin and the Cardinals. Cardinal fans ecstatic about the rally so far from their team. Ronaldo Hill, 2 interceptions that have changed this game. And the Rams this half, 10 offensive plays, just 18 yards. They go back to Marshall Faulk, who gets a little bit of room outside around the 35-yard line before he goes out of bounds. Ronald McKinnon chasing him out. The Seahawks lost earlier today in Baltimore, so in the NFC West, a Ram victory would put them in first place all by themselves. The 49ers losing at Green Bay, and of course Arizona. Cardinals trying to work their way up. All of the Ram defeats this year have been on the road, and all the Cardinal wins have come here at home. Yeah, so you'd have to say advantage St. Louis. If they can get through this game, they have the Seahawks at home December 14th. In a 24-all tie, 11:28 and counting here on 2nd and 3. That was a 7-yard pickup from Marshall Faulk, who gets the ball again and moves out up to the 40 for a Ram first down. So after 3 Marc Bulger interceptions, Bulger in the game 18 of 25, 214 yards, a touchdown, and the 3 picks. Marshall Faulk getting the load. That was his 18th rush attempt. He has over 80 yards. Yeah, and that's a good stat, because against Baltimore earlier in the year, when Bulger began to struggle, this is a tied ball game, but when the Rams got the lead back in that game, they went very conservative, March did, in his play calling, and it looks like he's doing the same thing here this afternoon. 2 tight ends in with Marshall Faulk in the backfield on 1st and 10 from their 40. Bulger will throw and has Torrey Holt on the left side, run out of bounds. David Barrett pushed him out. Pickup of 8. Ray Thompson with the next range, so LeVar Woods is in for him. And remember, Ray last week fell on the field and had to be carried off on a stretcher. Said he felt some numbness and wasn't sure if he'd practice this week, but when we spoke with him on Friday and saw him at practice, he said he felt fine. He's been one of their more active defensive players. 2nd down and 2. And the give is to Faulk behind Goodspeed, the fullback, and Faulk is brought down, forcing a 3rd down. And you know, since training camp, the Rams have gone through 11 fullbacks, and a Cardinal helmet came off. Yeah, that's Brandon Tanners. He did a great job of hustling down the line of scrimmage to stuff that, and for about half the play, he didn't even have his bucket on his head. Didn't need it when you're built like that. You can see him, I think, right here. It's hard to tell. Actually, he's right there. The helmet's going to come off. Right, actually, he knocks it off because it was blocking his vision, and he continued to hustle down the line of scrimmage and ended up making the play. You know a guy's mean when he knocks his own helmet off. Back at fullback, Goodspeed is in. Since training camp, they've used 11 different fullbacks. They've settled on Goodspeed and Spencer Need on 3rd down. Bulger to throw, or trying to. He's roaming around, fires and completes to Brandon Manumaleuga. The ball looks like it's loose. Let's see what the officials say. They're going to say no catch.
Pass is rolled, incomplete, 4th down.
They're going to say he didn't have control of it.
Well, and guess who was in on the play? Ronaldo Hill. An important 3rd down throw by Bulger.
Bulger does a good job of scrambling around. They do a good job in the secondary converging on that play. I don't know about that. It was iffy whether his 2nd step got down before he got control of that football, but the official at the back of that play had the best view, far better than we did right there. It is a reviewable play if the Cardinals wish to challenge. Of course, the NFL wants to, you know, they emphasize this year making it clear that you really have to have possession of the ball if they're going to call it a catch. You know, and the question right here is, do they want to burn a timeout? I mean, you're a tied ball game. If it's not a legitimate challenge and you don't think you have a high percentage of winning this challenge. And they've already used one of their timeouts. You know, given where they could be with field position on a punt, this might be worth going for. This is where somebody in the booth has to help you if you're Dave McGinnis. You're right, and I'm assuming he got that help. Bulger does a great job of avoiding the rush that first time. Manumaleuga, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, but that official at the other end of the field is the one that had the best view.
On the play, 4th down.
All right, there is no challenge, even though Kelly Stouffer will challenge from our booth. But you don't have one of those red flags.
And it doesn't bother me if I burn my timeouts. It doesn't affect me up here.
John Landetti into punt. And you couldn't tell from the side angle if Manumalena was bobbling it or not. But either way, the Cardinals are going to get the football. And Anquan Bolden back to receive the punt.
And the Rams have to try to tackle somebody on punt right here.
Bolden is going to let that go. And it hits around the goal line and into the end zone. So the Cardinals, with 9:12 remaining here in the fourth quarter, tied at 24, will take over at their own 20. Welcome back as rookie Anquan Bolden needs 1 passing yard to hit 1,000, and that would set a record for a rookie, the fastest to 1,000 receiving yards, breaking Randy Moss's mark. We'll see if the Cardinals go to him on this drive as you get a check on scores from around the NFL. On 1st and 10 from the 20, the lone back, Marcel Shipp. That's Gilmore in motion, and a flag flies.
Before the ball, false start, 75, offense, 5 yards.
Check in
Still first down.
with James Brown for an update in Los Angeles. JB?
All right, folks, take a look at Cordell Stewart here, 4th and inches. The second try finally gets it over. Chicago trying desperately to walk away with the victory here in the fourth quarter, up 16-10 over Denver early in the fourth. Back to Chris and Kelly.
Thanks, James. And the Bears gave the Rams fits last week when the Rams won on the road. They're tied here. Blake, 1st and 15 to throw, has time. He'll run it and slide down around the original line of scrimmage around the 19-20, and he's grabbing his right knee as Grant Wistrom chased him down. He'll have an injury timeout with Blake in pain.
And that was a great decision. Even though it ends up with him getting injured, there was nobody open. But right there, he starts to slide and gets that right knee caught in the turf.
Not a pretty picture. 12-year veteran out of East Carolina limping in a tie game. We'll be back. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Along with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers in Arizona. Rams and Cardinals tied at 24. Jeff Blake out after grabbing his right knee. Josh McCown in at quarterback.
Yeah, the jury's still out whether Josh is the guy to take over when Blake is no longer here. You know, if the Cardinals continue to lose, they always have that opportunity to draft a quarterback in the first round, which I'm kind of familiar with.
What a time. We'll get to that. What a time to come in on 2nd and 11 to give us to Marcel Shipp in a tie game here in the fourth quarter out across the 26. Archuleta on the stop.
And it looks like Blake is on the sideline wanting to come back in right now, but I don't think they're going to let him. An important second down run to get McCown in that more comfortable place where it's a third manageable situation. But you can see the right knee right there. As much as the knee, it looked like the groin also would have gotten a pretty bad position. But this is an important play. If it's clean, Josh, hit the receiver. If not, throw the ball away and punt it.
James Hodgins, the fullback, in on 3rd and 4. Josh McCown ready to throw. Has some time. Flips it for Bolden. It's Tommy Polley, nearly intercepted. And we're going to take a look. The officials have not yet ruled if it is an interception or not. And it appears that they're calling that incomplete. Tommy Polley.
The very end of the play, definitely the ball is out. But that's just exactly what I was talking about. In a situation like that, if you're the backup quarterback coming in there cold, you have a clean situation, an open receiver, you put it on him. Any other mistakes, anything happening that isn't good, throw the ball out of bounds and line up and punt the football.
Talking about quarterbacks, you, of course, a first-round draft pick out of Colorado State by the St. Louis Cardinals. It was the last year before.
Is challenging the ruling on the field. The pass was incomplete.
See, that's bad information from upstairs because this isn't even going to be close.
Yeah,
and again, you burn a timeout when it's 24-24.
You can clearly see it fall right through. There's no doubt the officials were all over that.
You know, I understand it's important play in the game, but there isn't even a question on that. But you're right. I mean, I was the answer about 12 years ago, but that's the way it goes, and they might be back in that situation again.
Well, you're not the answer for him now, but somebody needs to be at quarterback as the Rams and Cardinals are tied at 24. All right, welcome back with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers. The officials quickly ruled that it was an incomplete pass, so the Rams will lose a timeout on the challenge. And Mike Martz's team will get the ball. Mike Furry back to receive the punt from Scott Player. Again, you were drafted first round by the Cardinals, just to finish this up. Never played for them because of a holdout contract dispute. Went on to play 7 years in the NFL. And they're already talking here in Arizona. You know, Jeff Blake is the bridge to somebody at quarterback. Could it be an Eli Manning that they draft? Could it be a Josh McCown? We'll see if McCown steps forward today. Furry on the, well, he signaled fair catch, then he caught the ball. And a flag flies. Brought down at the 30. And maybe he was trying to block the sun.
Yeah.
That's quickly what he's indicating.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
I think you're on it, but whether you're blocking the sun or not, if it raises above a certain point, that's deceiving the coverage team, and they throw the flag on you.
Well, there is an area of the field where the sun is kind of bleeding through. It's shadowy.
And let's not get into interpretation of motives here, what you're trying to do.
Invalid fair catch signal. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down. Good job, baby.
All right, an appropriate call by, you heard one of the Cardinal players say, good job, official. And he signals.
Yeah.
That looks like a fair catch signal. You see the sun spot off to the
absolutely.
side.
He wasn't even to the sun yet, though, and I think it was one of those situations where he's like, I want to call it fair catch. No, I'm just kidding. And he tries to pull it down, but by that time it's too late. The flag was coming out.
He kicks because he cares. The Rams care. They have the ball. Mike Martz says, all right, we got it. First down from the 30 in a tie game. Let's make something happen. The Seahawks have lost today. If the Rams win, they're in first place all by themselves in the NFC West. Good speed in the backfield at fullback with Marshall Faulk. Bulger to throw, and he's going down. Ronald McKinnon in on the sack.
They say the ball's loose down there as well.
And the official is pointing that the ball came loose. It'll be another Marc Bulger turnover. And the Cardinals have the football.
You can see Ronald McKinnon right there. He's going to come on just a dog from the outside and does a good job of timing with that type of stunt. Let the lineman get engaged with the defensive lineman and then time it to come right off the corner. And he did a great job before the guard could pull out there McCollum and pick him up.
Third sack of the game for the Cardinal defense. The Ram defense, meanwhile, has no sacks. Fourth St. Louis turnover. Marc Bulger responsible on all of those. And Jeff Blake is back in at quarterback after leaving for 2 plays because of his sore right knee. The give to Marcel Shipp. He's got some room, pushing forward down around the 15-yard line. And Jeff Blake, who's been with 5 teams in his 12 years in the NFL, trying to tough it out as Marc Bulger in another tough game, close to being yanked in the last 2, if for no other reason than to give the offense a better shot in favor of Kurt Warner, who actually at one point reportedly said to Coach Martz, hey, leave him in there, he'll fight his way out of it. He did last week. Shipp is at the 100-yard mark. 2nd and 6 for the Cardinals from the 15 of the Rams in a tie game. 7 minutes to go. They give it to Bolden, the rookie, dancing inside the 15, spinning down around the 10-11 yard line of the Rams, where it'll bring up 3rd down.
And we already saw earlier in the game that Bolden actually got this on the reverse. You can see he's going to come in motion right there, and it's a good thing because you had pressure coming up the field. If he can get outside right there, he has to realize that with his speed running against linebackers, he could have got to the edge right there if he would have kept outside.
3rd and 1. Bolden, a guy they line up in the slot in the backfield. They've even talked about having him line up over center.
That's why they're in the game right there. 5.9 rushing the football.
Steve Bush at tight end, James Hodgins at fullback in with Marcel Shipp. They need a yard. And they're throwing. The pass for Bolden. It's a drop pass. It would have been a touchdown had Bolden held on. And on 3rd and 1, the Cardinals go for the end zone.
It's a great thought. Bolden's out here one-on-one with Fisher. But you got to throw this ball to the corner of the end zone. I don't know if that was an intentional underthrow, but when you have a big receiver, give him an opportunity to go up and get it, not have to go down and get the football.
Looked like Travis Fisher had a hand inside there, making a nice defensive play. And so a gamble in a sense. And after a couple of 4th down gambles earlier in this game, the 27-yard field goal attempt, because things are different now. The Cardinals with Neil Rackers take the lead 27-24. They come back from a 14-point deficit, and now Marc Bulger has to rally the Rams. The Cardinals with a 3-point lead after another Marc Bulger turnover. They turn it into points. And Bulger anxious to take the field and respond. Neil Rackers to kick it off to Arlen Harris and Mike Furry. 20 points off 4 Ram turnovers for the Cardinals. That's why they lead. Here's the kick. It is Harris from his own 2. Out across the 30, up around the 35-yard line, where the offense will take over next week on Fox NFL Sunday, America's #1 pregame show. The Vikings try and right their ship. They'll face these very Rams. Both teams try to stay at the top of their division. The Cardinals battle the Bears. The Saints will try and keep their playoff hopes alive. Coverage noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Fox. So the biggest stories are in the NFC, and the NFC is on Fox. And the Rams have a chance to take first place in the NFC West if they win here. To do it, they need to rally. 4 wide receivers in the game. That's Furry moving out to the left. And the give is to Marshall Faulk across the 35 for a short pickup. The Rams have had to come back in the 4th quarter. Marc Bulger, about half of his victories as a quarterback have come in his career. This is this season. Entering the 4th quarter, they trailed the 49ers by 3, won in overtime, rallied against the Ravens, and of course last week against the Bears when Bulger was close to being yanked. On 2nd down, Faulk in the backfield, Bulger from the shotgun. Throws, and it's intercepted. The Cardinals, Kobe Reinhardt picks it off. 4 interceptions for Marc Bulger. 5 turnovers for the Ram quarterback, and the Cardinals, who have the lead, will have the ball.
Great coverage right there, just cutting underneath. Generally, it's hard to do that on Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt, but great coverage by Reinhardt. He moves down in the nickel situation and plays that slot and did a good job that time.
So this Cardinal defense fired up. Mike March warned us about teams that get whipped one week and then come back home the next week and have something to prove. And the Cardinals, after getting knocked around in Cleveland, are proving to Bulger.
Stack a fumble on top of that, and you have an ugly afternoon.
Marcel Shipp with a lone back for the Cardinals. Still no sign of Warner warming up. Shipp gets the ball, but he's brought down in a hurry by Robert Thomas. And Marc Bulger struggling for the 3rd straight week.
You're right, and you can see Bruce right here is just going to try to get loose on an out route. Good job by Reinhardt, and then in the end, come underneath. That ball needs to be outside. If you throw the ball late and throw it inside on an out-breaking route, you're asking for trouble, and he got it right there.
And there is Kurt Warner, and Bulger said they've actually become closer since Bulger has taken over as the starter. Kurt helping to relay the plays from Mike Martz. But they're in trouble here. The Rams need some help from their defense.
Here comes the pressure.
2nd and 15 on Jeff Blake, and he's going to throw with a 3-point lead. Throwing for Brian Johnson, and it's out of bounds, incomplete. Nice protection.
Absolutely. The Cardinals did a great job of picking up that pressure. The Rams were bringing 2 extra defenders. They blocked it up, but they just couldn't get loose in the secondary. Good job by the Rams in the secondary that time.
See an upset.
Watch it right here. They're going to get a couple extra guys coming up underneath from linebacker position. Do a good job of passing that off, communicating up front. You have the stop and go outside, but Johnson can't get loose, and Fisher does a good job of not biting on that first move and then falling back underneath the second one.
So 3rd and 15 for the Cardinals. They only have a 3-point lead, and you know with this Ram offense that any kind of lead is barely safe. Blake to throw. He's in trouble, gets it to Shipp, but he's going nowhere. Brought down in a hurry, and the Cardinals will have to punt.
And remember how this drive started. It started with a negative play on 1st down that put this offense 2nd long and then 3rd and long, and that isn't the way these guys get it done. They have to be productive on 1st and 2nd down and be in 3rd and manageable situations.
So the Rams will get the ball back, but it would appear that it wouldn't be great field position. Looked like Jeff Blake wanted something from the official. Dave McGinnis hollering. But the Cardinal team has responded for their coach, who has a contract that runs through next year. There were rumblings around the league. How safe is his job after
Please set the game clock to 3:56. Started on my signal.
All right, he seems angry about it.
3:56.
Right, we'll work on that clock for you. Let's take a look at the last 6 possessions. You got it. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Interception. Punt, interception.
What that is a whole lot of ugly right there, and it's the way that the Cardinals could stay in the game. I think the only way they could stay in the game is if the offensive side of the ball for the Rams self-destructed, and they've accommodated them.
And yet the Rams are still in position to tie this game or win this game. There's plenty of time left, under 4 minutes, as you just heard from the official. 3:40 and counting, and that's what Dave McGinnis is hollering about. He wants that clock to run down as much as possible before the Cardinals and Scott Player have to give it back to the Rams. Maybe they let it down run too much because there's a flag.
I actually think the gunner out to the right side moved a little bit before the snap. The Rams are going to try to bring that pressure from the outside, slide the defender off the gunner, and try to get pressure on the punter, and I think it kind of startled the gunner that time.
The Cardinals rallied from a 14-point deficit to take the lead.
False start, number 23, offense. 5 yards, still 4th down.
So maybe Scott Player wants some more kicking room from his own 48. Mike Furry is back deep, and the punt, fair catch signaled for, right around the 12-yard line. So the Rams will take over on offense, but so far it's been an adventurous day for Marc Bulger.
You know, this one is just thrown into coverage. It's a soft zone, and he just should throw the ball underneath. This one's a little bit late, and Hill does a good job of getting underneath. And that was just not seen out in front of him. And then when you get pressure, you feel pressure, you have to protect the football. That ball needs to be outside and not let the defender have that advantage of coming underneath at the end.
5 turnovers for Marc Bulger, who's still the quarterback. And again, reiterating that Mike Martz mentioned even when he talked about bringing Warner in, it was just to get the offense going, that no matter how well Kurt Warner would have done coming in, that Marc Bulger would come back and be the starter. There's no quarterback controversy here.
Yeah, and if you don't bring him in this situation, you don't bring him in at all.
So the Rams trailing by 3, deep in their own end. From the 12, Bulger to throw. Throws behind Isaac Bruce. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I just don't see confidence being exhibited by this quarterback right here, and that happens. You're not seeing the field, and that second interception by Hill proved that. You have to see that defender out in front of you before you throw the ball to a crossing route. But that's what I sense right now is just Marc Bulger does not have much confidence. It's a tough position to come off the bench as a quarterback and play in, but you got to think I have a chance to win this football game even when my quarterback has turned the ball over 5 times.
Kobe Reinhardt, who had the pick last time, is in for Ronaldo Hill, who has a sprained ankle. On 2nd and 10, Bulger to throw and completes to Marshall Faulk, who's brought down at the 15 immediately by Justin Lucas. Part of the nickel and dime package for Dave McGinnis's Cardinal team. 3 minutes to go and counting. The Rams have 2 timeouts, but they can't fool around here on 3rd down.
You're right, and that was a good throw, good catch, but also a good play by Lucas that time, because that was Marshall Faulk, and he knows what to do with the ball after he gets it. Yards after the catch is his forte.
3rd and 7 for the Rams, trailing by 3. Mike Martz calls all the plays, of course, going into the game. He doesn't let anybody know what the plays are going to be. And his quarterbacks do not audible. Bulger back to throw. Looking for Torrey Holman, has him for a 1st down. Emmanuel McDaniel on the stop.
Excuse me there, Chris. We interviewed Torrey last night, and when they need a play, when Bulger needs a play, this is who he looks for right here. Just a little stop curl right there. If you want to play, go to number 81, and if you don't like that, number 80, Isaac Bruce on the other side isn't bad either.
13-yard pickup. Holt runs and runs through practice after practice and has said that he wants to, with 8 catches and 111 yards at the end of the game when everybody else is tired. He doesn't want to be tired. And certainly the case here. We've hit the 2-minute warning. The Rams trailing by 3. Need a field goal to tie. They're on the move. The Rams single hold on first place in the NFC West may be fading here in Arizona. 2 minutes to go. They trail the Cardinals by 3. They have a 1st down from their own 27-yard line. Marc Bulger 5 turnovers in the game. The Cardinals have taken advantage. But all they need is a field goal to tie to force overtime. Ronaldo Hill, who's had a big game with 2 interceptions for the Cardinals, 1 run back for a touchdown, nursing a sore ankle. Bulger to throw. For Isaac Bruce at midfield, and has him. Out of bounds at the 45. The officials are waving off the catch. It came out of his hands when he went down. The Rams challenged one of these earlier, and that looks to be incomplete.
Yeah, I guess so. The officials are right on top of it. It's amazing that this was even a question. Well, transferring the ball from one side to the other. I don't know. He had taken about 3.5 steps in between that time period right there.
David Barrett made sure he didn't hang on. The Rams do have 2 timeouts remaining now on 2nd and 10. 4 wide receivers for Bulger. Looks one way, tries to throw, and is brought down for the 4th time. Another Cardinal sack. The Cardinals came in with only 9 sacks the entire year.
Timeout, St. Louis. Number 2 to 30-second timeout.
Mike Marc saying throw it to Bulger. The Rams with a timeout, trailing by 3. In Arizona, the Rams facing crunch time.
You're going to see James Darling, and the linebacker that comes in on nickel situations. They just absolutely dropped protection, and he gets to the quarterback.
On 3rd down, trailing by 3. Bulger to throw. Complete to Torrey Holt. Up around the 38 of St. Louis. It should be good enough for a 1st down. The Cardinal defense, 9 sacks coming into this game, 4 in this game against the Rams and Marc Bulger.
And last week, Chicago only had 7 going into the game, and they had 3 against this team. So there's some pass protection issues.
I think the officials are reviewing the play. Torrey Holt knew where the 1st down marker was. And again, remember, under 2 minutes before the half or toward the end of the game, it's up to the officials to replay or not.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I mean, Torrey Holt is not a guy. He takes care of everything. He dots the I's. He does a good job that time. You don't have to tuck the football. You just have to have possession. Get your hands up. Get your foot down. That I think is going to be the question.
Was whether the receiver had 2 feet in bounds when he made the catch.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying, because on that last replay, you couldn't tell. Let's try this angle. This is an important.
We can stop on possession right there. His right foot is down, then his left foot is going to end up being down right there.
But he doesn't have the ball.
You're right. It looks like his left hand isn't clearly on the football yet.
Torrey Holt with 8 catches for 122 yards.
And it's important to remember the officials ruled it a catch. Do they have enough to overturn it? It's one thing, you know, if they see it, you know, that it was questionable, but it has to be decisive and conclusive.
And that was some of the criticism about Marc Bulger, that he was locking in on Torrey Holt, you know, worrying about one receiver instead of looking at other options, reading progressions.
But when I'm 3rd and 15 and you need a play, that's a time, if you're ever going to lock onto a receiver, that's the time to do it, because it's a matter of one-on-one out there. That time with Emmanuel McDaniel, that's a great matchup. I have to believe that Torrey Holt wins that matchup.
So this is a box office review for the Rams, who need this to keep marching downfield and maybe get a game-tying field goal. A win puts them in 1st place all by themselves, because the Seahawks lost in Baltimore earlier today.
Now the question is does he hold the football? Initially it looks like he has possession, but as he starts to transfer, right there you could see the left fingers that were trying to wrap around the left side of that football was a little questionable, which
rolling on the field stands. It was a catch on the sideline, 1st down.
But in the end, you don't have enough evidence to overturn it. That's important of how they call it initially.
And I think that's the reason, Kelly, that they didn't overturn it. It was called a catch. There wasn't anything that said it clearly wasn't a catch. So a big gain for the Rams, and Bulger does connect with Holt. And if Bulger could pull out this game somehow for the Rams, it'll go a long way in dealing with the word comeback after his 5 turnovers so far. 1st down for the Rams. They need 3 to tie. 1 timeout remaining. Bulger to throw. Across for Isaac Bruce. And we're getting signals from the Cardinals that it was incomplete, and now the officials say it was incomplete. That's a tough throw to make.
Oh, man. You move the pocket to the left, and then you throw backside to a 20-yard out route. This is as tough as it gets for a quarterback. He makes a good throw. McDaniel, if he would have had just a little bit more confidence, had the time to cut underneath that. The other side might review that play. There's one foot. He kicks up dust with the other foot, but don't want to take the chance.
2nd down and 10 for the Rams. 1:27 to go. One timeout. Throws underneath and has Mike Furry for a 1st down at midfield.
You still have over a minute, and you don't want to burn a timeout right here. Get to the line of scrimmage, and then when it ticks under a minute, the next big play is when you start firing off those timeouts.
Depending upon whether you counted 4th quarter or late comebacks, Bulger has had 5 to 7 of those for victories for the Rams, and trying to complete a pass to Hull here, and it's incomplete. So that'll bring up a 2nd down. From where the Rams are, with Jeff Wilkins, their kicker, another 20 yards at least puts you in position for a game-tying field goal.
And maybe 15 on the outside, but 20 certainly would do it. And he's been like money this year.
And with the timeout, he has kicked a 57-yarder. And of course, he had one earlier in this game, so 25 of 27 this year for Wilkins. On 2nd and 10. Falk, the lone back. Bulger to throw and flips it to Falk on the right side, who wisely gets out of bounds but doesn't gain much. It'll be 3rd down for the Rams. Kobe Reinhardt worked it so that Falk didn't have any running room. We have under a minute to go here in regulation, and an important 3rd down for Mike Marc.
And that was good game management right there. They expected pressure from the Cardinals, which they did get. So that time you just try to flip a little pass out to Falk in the flat and let him get one-on-one with the linebacker and try to get something done. And Marshall is smart enough, obviously, to get out of bounds at the end of the play.
From the Arizona 47, it's 3rd and 7. The Rams need a field goal to tie. Bulger to throw. For Bruce, and behind him, and incomplete. That brings up 4th down.
Great coverage right here by McDaniel on Bruce. Has his right hand that's a little questionable. That certainly isn't going to be called at this point in time in the game. Good job again coming underneath the coverage, recognizing that deep in route that the Rams are famous for, and he does a good job of sliding underneath at the end.
Well, the game has come down to this for the Rams on 4th down. They need 7 yards or more.
This is it, 4th and 7.
They still have one timeout.
And this is Torrey Holt right here. He likes this matchup this far in this drive.
Bulger to throw. Has Torrey Holt, who looks like he caught it inside the 25, and yes, the official says the catch was made. 23-yard pickup when they needed 7.
And Torrey is isolated. He's going to go to the corner. He breaks it off as flat as he needs to, and Bulger makes a great throw in traffic before the corner. Actually, the safety can come off of that. Wilson from the hash. Get it in there before the safety can react.
And with Ronaldo Hill out of there, who has 2 interceptions, the Rams able to work the corners. Now they are in field goal range. 48 seconds to go. They can think about winning the game. 1st down from the 25. Give to Marshall Falk, who's got some room on the right side, inside the 15. Yanked out of bounds around the 7-8 yard line. The Rams closer to pulling this out. Dexter Jackson there to bring him down. Let's take a look again how close that play was with Torrey Holt.
And the key thing is obviously keep your eye on the football at the same time, getting your feet in bounds. There's one. I don't know. I guess they ruled that he dragged the right foot, but that's where that hard work of Torrey Holt pays off at doing those little things in key situations.
And again, that's where the officials would look at the review as they did before and made the right call. That was a big 4th down play that obviously kept the Rams alive, and now they're in position to win the game. Bulger to throw. Underneath to Isaac Bruce, and it's incomplete. So It'll be second down. Marshall Faulk, by the way, has hit the 100-yard mark.
You can see receivers trying to get into the end zone. Adrian Wilson does a good job. Once the defender backs up to the goal line, there's really no need to go any deeper. Wilson did a good job of recognizing that his feet were on the goal line when the receiver comes into view. Go blow it up.
Rams marching all the way from their own end of the field in position for a game-tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown. Marshall Faulk takes the snap with Bulger split to the left. A direct snap to Faulk, and he goes nowhere. That didn't fool anybody. Bulger was split out on the left.
The clock is still running.
And the Rams have one timeout on 3rd and goal. They're going to have to let it run down and set up the game-tying field goal. Let's take a look. See, that's Marshall Faulk
right here. Bulger's clear out on the other side of the field, but sometimes you can outthink yourself, and especially Marc, he's known as that offensive genius. Sometimes you can get a little bit too fancy.
Rams use their last timeout.
Their third. It's a 30-second timeout. And please set the game clock to 4 seconds.
Marshall Faulk, 101 yards, and the touchdown
4
early.
seconds. Thank you.
And the Rams don't lose when he rushes for 100 yards. And you know what? If this field goal goes through here, they won't lose yet. It'll force overtime. Jeff Wilkins last week, not only did he make the kick against the Bears, they had to rally for this field goal, which put the Rams ahead 23-21. But Wilkins, the 31-yarder, also had to help out on special teams.
Right, he made potentially a game-saving tackle on the next kickoff.
And here a short field goal that Wilkins can tie it. 24-yarder. And it's good. So we have a tie game going to overtime here. And on 3rd down, when you talked about outthinking yourself, Kelly, because the Rams could have had on that 2nd down play another shot maybe at the end zone had they not run such an unusual play with Faulk taking the direct snap and lining Bulger out on the left.
Yeah, I think if you want to use Marshall in that situation, you slide him outside, create a one-on-one situation, and throw the football to him. He has over 100 yards, but it hasn't been gotten that way. Not from that quarterback position. It's with a fullback in front of him, and then he picks the right hole. I don't think it was a great play call, but obviously, if it works, Marc continues with that title of offensive genius.
Workhorse day for Marshall Faulk. The Rams impressively from their own 12-yard line drove all the way inside the 10 to kick the game-tying field goal. After Marc Bulger had turned it over 5 times, he was steady on that drive, including a 4th down pass.
All right, let me explain the overtime here. We're going to play a sudden death overtime. First team to score will win the game. It'll be a maximum of 15-minute overtime. If at the end of 15 minutes no one has scored, it'll end in a tie. Each team will be given 2 timeouts. And oh yeah, and all replays will be initiated from the replay booth upstairs. All right. We have St. Louis up here, Arizona down here. Once again, the coin, heads or helmets. The logo's tails. What do you want? What do you want? Huh? Tails is called. Tails it is. St. Louis wins the toss. They want the football. Let's go. You want to defend? You want to kick that way? Okay. Good luck.
All right, so the Cardinals will receive the ball in overtime in Arizona. Welcome back in Tempe, Arizona. Rams and Cardinals in overtime, along with Kelly Stouffer, Chris Myers, and the Cardinals will kick off. The Rams did win the toss. Another overtime game. You know that Seattle, leading the NFC West with the Rams, lost in overtime today in Baltimore, and both the Rams and Cardinals were in overtime games this year. They both beat the 49ers in those OT games. This is Arlen Harris from his own goal line, out across the 15 and brought down inside the 13-yard line on a big special teams play by LeVar Woods. So Marc Bulger, who drove his team from his own 12-yard line into field goal range to tie, although an unusual play in which the snap went to Marshall Faulk and he ran forward with Bulger lined out and led to the game-tying field goal by Wilkins. He'll now try and rally his team again after having 5 turnovers in regulation.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's impressive about that last drive. This guy was on the mat. 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble by not securing the ball when he got sacked. And then to come back with a drive like that, that is impressive.
And never a hint of Kurt Warner coming into the game. Marshall Faulk, we mentioned, over 100 yards, and when he has that rushing, the Rams don't lose. And Faulk will get the ball in the backfield, not a lot of room. Cardinal defense keeping him from getting out across the 15-yard line. Again, the Cardinals, all 3 of their wins this year have come at home. One of those an overtime win against the 49ers. And the Rams, all of their defeats have come on the road. The Cardinal defense with some big plays. Ronaldo Hill, a couple of interceptions, including 1 run back for 70 yards and a touchdown in the first half. And the Cardinal defense needs a stop here. 2nd and 9. Fake to Faulk, Bulger to throw. And complete to Isaac Bruce. Out across the 35-yard line. You can hear the chants. The Bears upsetting the Broncos in Denver. Cardinals trying to upset the Rams here.
You can see Bruce right here. McDaniels grabs a hold of him, fights off, and gets to the outside. On the previous drive, it was Holt matched up against McDaniel, and that's where they chose to go. This time, they put Bruce out there, but the same result.
So they're working on McDaniel with Ronaldo Hill out of there. David Barrett the other corner. That was a 20-yard pickup. And just like in the first meeting, big numbers for Holt and Bruce. Bulger to throw on 1st down to Marshall Faulk. Adrian Wilson on the stop, up around the 45-yard line, close to another Ram 1st down.
This is what makes Marshall so tough out in space. It doesn't matter whether it's a defensive back in this case or a linebacker. He can make you look silly very quickly with those quick feet that he has.
We're in overtime in Arizona with the Rams, who had a 14-point lead, couldn't hold on to it. The Cardinals took the lead by 3, and then the Rams had to rally as regulation ran out on the Jeff Wilkins field goal to force this OT. 2nd and 1. Bulger to throw. Maybe he'll run for it. 1st down inside the 38-yard line of the Cardinals. Kobe Reinhardt on the stop. Bulger doing something he doesn't usually do.
Yeah, Bulger isn't going to make a habit of this, but sometimes, especially when there's man-to-man in the secondary, it's like the Red Sea parting, and you see nobody in front of you except green grass, and that's the time as a quarterback, whether you like to run or not, that you have to take advantage of it.
An 18-yard pickup gives the Rams 1st and 10 from the 38 of Arizona. Another 8 yards or so, and they'll be in Wilkins field goal range to win this thing and go back to St. Louis in 1st place in the NFC West. The pitch to Faulk on the left side. Slips and is brought down. Let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Chris, would not have mattered anyway, but showing you what Denver did last attempt here. Jake Plummer looking for Ashley Lee, trailing 19-10. And even if the lead had caught it, would not have made any difference at all. Chicago snapped a 12-game road losing streak. Denver 4th loss in the last 5 games. Back to Chris and Kelly.
And that's what makes this league the best game on the face of the planet, is games like that. You know, games like this. You don't think the Cardinals have a chance. You didn't think Chicago had a chance. And guess who wins a football game?
2nd and 12 from the Arizona 40. They lost a couple. Fake to Faulk, Bulger to throw. Under some pressure and incomplete. No flags yet. And no flags fly. It'll be 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, they're letting them play outside, that's for sure. You can see right here, Adrian Wilson was definitely early, but it's kind of like that late time in an NBA playoff game. You let a whole lot more go on at that point in time of the game than maybe you would earlier, and I think that's a good example of it right there.
So after marching towards field goal range, they now have a 3rd down from the Arizona 40. We're in overtime here at Sun Devil Stadium. The Cardinals trailed early 14-0, then trailed in the 2nd half before taking the lead. Now the Rams rally, tie it, and are trying to win it in OT. That's Looker in motion. Bulger to throw. Quick toss out to Looker, who makes an inside move and gets down around the 32-yard line. And now you're in that range where you might try a field goal.
Absolutely. That play was all about just picking up enough yards to give this guy an opportunity. Remember, his long is 57. They're well within that range, but that's what that play was about. If you end up picking up the first down, it's a bonus, but more importantly, just pick up a few to make it a little easier on this guy right here.
All right, the Rams won the toss. First possession here in overtime could be the last of the game if Jeff Wilkins makes good on what would be a 49-yard field goal. And Marc Bulger would have survived a nightmare game. The kick is up there. It's out there, and it is through there. The Rams rally to win in the desert. Marc Bulger is off the hook, and the Rams are in first place alone in the NFC West.
Wow. You talk about a quarterback getting up off the mat and getting it done, but he has a good group around him. This young man needs to learn to rely on them early in football games.
Frustrating day for Dave McGinnis and the Cardinals. The Rams, their 8th win of the year. They pull one out on the road in overtime as Jeff Wilkins, Mr. Reliable for this Ram team, calmly kicks the game winner. Just as Marc Bulger calmly led them back to tie. Mike Martz happy to get out of town with a W. We'll be back. Have another look at the Rams rallying win in Arizona in just a moment.